Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Magic Kingdom.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of August 4th, 2019. This is episode 52. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilms, Muppets, Pixar, Fox, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. Just remember, whether you're planning your next Disney park vacation, cruise vacation, or you just frankly don't know where to start, be sure to contact the friendly and courteous people at Destinations with Character Travel, the official travel partner of Disney Marvel Podcast. Email them at info@destinationswithcharacter.com or visit their website at www.destinationswithcharacter.com, and be sure to tell them that you heard about them on Disney Marvel's podcast. And now, for the news. San Diego Comic-Con 2019 had a lot of news and information coming out. FX dropped a new trailer for the second season of Mayans MC, which is the spin-off to Son of Anarchy. Disney's DuckTales revealed its mid-season 2 trailer, poster art, and images that showed Daisy, Goofy, Chip and Dale, and many others. Look for the season premiere sometime in August or September. Probably towards September. Disney also debuted the teaser trailer for the forthcoming animated series, The Owls. The fantasy comedy, which is set to premiere in 2020, following a teenager girl, Luz, who stumbles upon a portal into the demon realm and befriends a rebellious witch, Ida, which premieres early in 2020 on Disney Channel. Created by executive producers Dana Terrace from Gravity Falls. The series is an animated fantasy comedy that, like I said, follows Luz, the teenage human girl. Also, the premiere of The Rocketeer, based on the live-action film, which tells the story of Kit, a young girl who receives a jetpack for her birthday and becomes the namesake Rocketeer to protect the civilians of Hughesville, along with the help of her best friend, Tesh, her bulldog sidekick, Butch, and the airplane mechanic grandfather, Ambrose Secord. It will air on Disney Junior later this year. Marvel announced, without too much information, Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Captain Marvel 2, and Fantastic Four, and something to do with mutants. They were all quickly mentioned without much details at San Diego Comic-Con. Unlike the information for Black Widow, which will be in theaters May 1st, 2020, Eternals in theaters November 6th, 2020, Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus in the fall of 2020, Shang-Chi in theaters of February 12th, 2021, WandaVision on Disney Plus in spring of 2021, Loki on Disney Plus in spring of 2021, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in theaters May 7th, 2021, the animated What If series on Disney Plus in summer of 2021, Hawkeye on Disney Plus in fall of 2021, Thor Love and Thunder in theaters November 5th, 2021, and Blade will now also be joining the MCU. Disney's Aladdin has crossed the 1 billion mark as the 5th Disney-branded live-action release to do so, alongside Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, and the second and fourth Pirates of the Caribbean films. Aladdin was also the Walt Disney's third film of the year to reach this milestone, where Disney's live action animated The Lion King has crossed the 1 billion mark as well, within 19 days of its release. It's the second Disney-branded live-action release this year to cross the $1 billion mark, and the sixth overall on the aforementioned list. Disneyland Resort is bringing new events to guests of all ages this Halloween season with Oogie Boogie's Bash, a Disney Halloween party at California Adventure Park. This unforgettable night of Halloween fun is packed with exclusive new entertainment, from the new World of Color spectacular to Villainous, to an interactive Descendants-inspired dance party, a stage show with Mickey Mouse, and a mysterious Disney villain walk-through experience. Oogie Boogie Bash, a Disney Halloween party, will add to the fun of Halloween time celebrated throughout the Disneyland Resort from September 6th through October 31st. The Little Mermaid will be coming to ABC as a live musical. Moana star Aloy Carvalho will play the lead role, while Queen Latifah will play the villainous Ursula, and Shaggy will play the crab Sebastian. More casting will be announced at a later date. This will be on... The special will feature music from the original animated film and the Tony Award-winning Broadway stage version. The original, composed by Alan Menken. Howard Ashman's iconic film lyrics will also be showcased, with lyrics from the Broadway adaptation. Glenn Slater will also contribute. It is slated to air November 5th at 8 p.m. on ABC. Disney will offer a bundle package of 3 streaming services, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, for the price of $12.99 a month, starting on November 12th. Acclaimed voice actor and Disney legend Russi Taylor passed away in Glendale, California on July 26, 2019. She was 75. Throughout countless effervescent performances, Russi always showed an incredible talent for entertaining and improvisation, while she brought to life the illustrious cast of beloved characters during a career that spanned nearly 4 decades. Russi is best known for her voice of Minnie Mouse. She's first assumed the role more than 30 years ago and has given voice to Minnie in hundreds of Disney projects, from television to theme park experiences, animated shorts, theatrical films. No performance was too tough for Russi's accomplishments. Take on the divine Miss Minnie Mouse. Also, she did Huey, Dewey, and Louie and the 80s DuckTales, and so many beloved characters. It is a truly loss for the Disney family, losing Russi, but she is now with her beloved Wayne, and we'll miss them both, and just we'll have to enjoy the gifts that they gave us for the time that they were here. We'll be back in a moment. And now, on with the show. Today, I am joined by a man who loves Disney and knows Disney, I would say probably just as well, if not better than myself. It is Matt Marlino from Love of the Mouse podcast and blog and many other things. This week, I particularly asked him to join along because by coincidence and by blessing of our wonderful sponsors, Destination with Character Travels, we were at Disney World within 2 weeks of each other. He did a shorter trip. I did a longer trip. His was all adults. I was with children. And we're going to talk about the difference being at the same place, relatively at the same time, but the different experiences that we both had. So, Matt, you are my guest. Please, how was your trip?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, my pleasure.
I really appreciate you asking me to come on and help you out with this episode. I'm very excited to talk about both of our trips. And again, like you said, thank you to Destinations with Character Travel for connecting the two of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome that we share that sponsor. They've done great, and I'm sure we can plug them a little more as we go.
Oh, I will definitely be talking about my fantastic experience. I dealt with Susan, and she was absolutely phenomenal. Very patient with all my requests and accommodations I kept asking for.
That's fantastic.
They were great.
That's great. I'm going to be using them for September, so yeah. I can report back on that as well.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's always good to have a trip planned once you're coming back. Yeah. It makes it a little easier.
Well, I have a trip planned.
Oh, that's good. When are you going back?
I have a trip planned. It will be roughly 24 months, maybe 20 months from now.
Okay. Well, you have to wait a little bit longer than I do.
Yeah, we are going to be doing it up for the 50th.
Very nice. That's exciting.
Unless if somehow luck finds me down there sooner than that. But yeah, that is our next big planned vacation. Hitting up the 50th and doing it up big time.
Very nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, as you said, I was there 2 weeks prior to your trip. And I went with my parents and my wonderful girlfriend, Tori, who she's gone on 5 Disney trips with me now in the past 3 years. So we've kind of made it a thing, I guess. But yeah, the two of us were graced by my parents' presence, for their first trip since 2005. So it was really, really exciting to get to experience the parks through their eyes, essentially as everything being new. So that was really cool.
Yeah, a lot has changed since then. I've taken my parents a long time ago to the parks, and the last time they were there before they went with my wife and I, and at that point just my daughter, was 98, just before the Animal Kingdom opened, when I was going down there to work. And so that was the last time that they'd been down there. And so it was several years after that. So circa 2006, 2007 was probably their last trip. And we're trying to convince them to go down there. But age is always a factor too.
Oh, absolutely.
Moving around, particularly some of those parks, you do quite the amount of walking.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. My Fitbit was going crazy.
Yeah. Oh yes, I was hitting goals left and right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's always a fun little thing that I like to keep track of. Like I wear my Fitbit all the time, but it never really occurs to me until I'm in Disney how much I'm actually walking.
Oh yes, especially like the Animal Kingdom.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's so hot in Animal Kingdom. I don't care when you're going. No. It's so hot.
Yeah, when I was there, when my family was there, and we were waiting for our bus, and I was pointing out to my daughter, I'm like, this is the path that I would have to walk because cast member parking is just beyond the bus parking lot. And I said I'd have to walk all this way, clock in over just the check-in point that for me at that point was just beyond the entrance gate. So swipe in there and then walk to the very back of the park. So if you swiped in even 3 minutes early, you were still technically late.
Oh my.
It's one of those crazy things.
That's
just
crazy.
Because they calculate in the size of the park. It's like, well, then don't schedule me for this time. Schedule me for earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those really funky things. I'm sorry, I digress. So, what was your parents' take on seeing the parks now, 14 years later?
So I will preface this before I get into that.
Hmm.
When we went in 2005, we only went to Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
So everything else was totally new for them. And I think my mom's favorite quote from the entire trip was, "It's so pretty here." Every single park we went to was, "It's so pretty here. It's so pretty here." And she just couldn't get over how beautiful the parks were, regardless of where we were. Um, so that was really awesome because I always like to kind of take it slow. Like I'm always fast paced when I'm in the parks. I'm always
Yeah, of
going
course.
100 miles a minute. But I like to take it slow to the point where I can have whoever I'm with appreciate the little things in Disney, like
Hmm.
whether it's the architecture, whether it's little hidden Mickeys, or just the Disney things that some people don't necessarily stop and look at.
No, and I did something similar to my last night was I was last day I was checking out, and behind me in the queue at the resort was a couple with their two younger daughters who was their first time. And rookie mistake, they didn't book any fast passes yet.
Oh no.
They're like, well, we're not going to tomorrow, so it shouldn't be an issue. I said, well, no, people book these things 3 months in advance. I said, you know what? Do it this way. Don't worry about rushing from ride to ride to ride. Take your time, enjoy what makes these parks more than just anything else that you've ever been in. The fine details, the music, the architecture, the small little details. Like on Main Street, all the names have something to do with the parks and
Right.
the Disney and everything. Uh, the hidden Mickeys, the again just the small details that make this stand out versus anything else in the world.
Absolutely. You nailed that on the head. Absolutely. And hopefully that family took your advice.
I hope so because like I said, they didn't have any fast passes going into the Magic Kingdom the next day. Um, I don't know what they were getting on. Like even
Yeah.
Peter Pan gets a 2 hour wait for almost the entire day.
Yeah, that's I like Peter Pan's great, but I don't think that it warrants a 2 hour wait. There's
I
not
I
much that warrants a 2 hour wait, to be
no,
honest.
I can't understand. And I'm not knocking Peter Pan. It is a fantastic ride. It's a classic dark ride.
Absolutely.
It's unique how they flip the ride vehicle. But it seemed for a while you could pretty much walk on it. Then all of a sudden it seemed to have this resurgent where it became one of the hit rides for some reason. And it's like either everyone is on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and if they're not on Seven Dwarfs, they're on Peter Pan.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's like you can't rope drop Fantasyland without having a wait.
No.
It's crazy. And I mean to good measure, I suppose, where if if you have the younger crowd, like I'm sure we'll probably get into this later if you guys are rope dropping any days. If you did rope drop at Magic Kingdom, you were probably heading to Fantasyland, where whenever I was rope dropping, we were probably going other places where, rides are a little more advanced for the older
Yeah.
kids. So just
We
different things like that.
yeah, back in the to date myself here in the 80s, my older brother would always plan out the trips, and there was it was almost like clockwork. In the Magic Kingdom, everyone started up front, pretty much in Fantasyland, and made their way back. So we did the reverse. We would go to Fantasyland, which would be practically empty, jump on everything, and make our way forward against the flow of traffic. And it worked out great. That's not the case anymore. Everyone's just so spread out.
Right.
We actually start off in Tomorrowland.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, I will we will get into that. So yeah, so the detailing. I'm glad that they were able to take that in and look at that.
Yes.
Because I think that is something that most people don't realize what's involved in, and to appreciate just how much detailing goes into everything and anything, any little thing, from the garbage cans from one country to the next, or even the pavement. How even the pavement that you're walking on is themed to the area that you're in.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. Like it's insane how much thought is put into everything that Disney does. And that was really the thing that my dad loved as well, where he just kind of he knew like what he was getting into because of me talking and just like prepping him for the trip,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't expect it to the level that it is. Like when we got there, he was like, "This is just a whole culture. It's like a totally new thing. Like everybody's happy. Everybody's just like into this culture, and there's like it's just happiness and like crazy how everybody just flows with it, and it's so streamlined."
Yeah, he
So
should go back to and listen to my episode number I think 50, where I talk about the Disney lifestyle is a culture.
yes, I listened to that episode actually while I was prepping for my trip. And it, or maybe it was either prepping or coming right back. I forget whenever you released it, but I did. I love that episode. I really did. It's so cool to just think how much Disney impacts different aspects of people's lives.
Yeah, I think even beyond people just consciously thinking about it, it is fantastic, and the parks just add into that so much more. I would see people with, obviously now the thing with the families, and we were part of this as well. Families would have matching outfits declaring their vacation and whatnot. I did see one gentleman, which I loved. He says, "I do not do matching shirts" on his shirt.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or you would have some of your younger crowd, your like early 20s, people who you not would not think go to Disney parks, but in the Disney park and with clothing that they designed. Well, this one girl had a Bambi, like a sundress on that I'm almost certain she made herself. It was just a really nice dress that she had made, and she was walking around. I made sure I pointed out to her that the dress was just beautiful, and things like that. You just, it's not. It really kind of just becomes part of your life,
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
than anything else really does.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're going with that. And it's funny that you say that these 20 something year olds with shirts and clothes that they've designed, because that was me. I was wearing a lot of the time I was wearing shirts that I had designed because that's what I do. I'm a graphic designer, so I've designed shirts that are Disney based and just kind of I love wearing them to the parks and just seeing because it's unique and not many people have them, because that's always been something that I like doing, whether it's going to sporting events or anything. Like I never want to have the most popular jersey or the most popular shirt. I want to have the guy who's like the backup that will be good in 3 years,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, I'm not a hipster, but like it's that mentality of I want to be the first to really show this off.
Yeah, I saw a couple of your pictures, and yeah, I know you had one of your Love of the Mouse shirts on. Your dad even had a Love of the Mouse shirt
Yes, he
on.
did.
That was awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Where I do theme my shirts to whatever park I'm in,
Yes.
but I was walking around the Magic Kingdom with a Disney Marvel podcast shirt on that I designed, and so yeah, I was, even though I'm not in my 20s, I'm definitely double that.
Yeah. You don't gotta go there.
But yeah, sorry. But I was doing it anyway because it's just, and like I said, I go harping back to that episode. It's okay. No, it is completely acceptable amongst the Disney culture to be doing that,
Absolutely. It's amazing.
and in some ways encouraged that. It just, they sell you. You can buy the official shirts, licensed shirts, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, go ahead and create your own. And expand upon it. And you don't want it. You want it slightly tweaked. Go ahead, and people, the fans, go, "Oh, that is a cool shirt. That is an awesome shirt."
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And to I do have one question for you because you recently went through a rebranding with your show and you have this new logo.
Yeah,
And did you design your new logo?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Isaac, who comes on to my shows every so often, he does graphic designs as well, and he helped me out with that. So yeah, no, Isaac did the new logo design for the show. I did the original logo design, which was a matter of going online and hacking two different pictures together. So to kind of protect myself for legal reasons,
Sure.
try to quickly figured for the 1 year anniversary of the show, let me come out with the new logo.
Absolutely. No, I just really like what you've done with it. So
Thank you.
kudos to
Thank you.
Isaac.
Yeah, he came up with some great ideas. It was hard to pick one to go with. And so this is I kind of shopped it around my family. Okay, all right, which one do you go with? The boss of the family, my wife and my daughter. Ask them, okay, which one do you like? And they both picked out that one. I said, okay, that one works for me. I like that. So in one with it and ran with it.
Very cool.
So I put it on shirts, put it on, on all the social feeds, and thank you very much for noticing it.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of my job.
Yeah, I love yours. I think I mentioned you. I know I mentioned to you when you launched the new website, and I liked how you you did that, and incorporated everything into that as well.
Thank you very much.
So run me through your itinerary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was an action-packed itinerary. I will say that much because we were there for 3 days. So again, very very contrary to your elongated trip. So we started off early. Our flight was at 7 a.m. out of Pittsburgh. So we flew from Pittsburgh to Orlando, and we were into Florida by 9:20 or so that Saturday morning. And we jumped on the Magical Express. My parents started taking pictures on the Magical Express, which I thought was a little weird because I'm used to the Magical Express. I thought, oh, why are they taking pictures of me on a bus? And I said that to my dad. I was like, why are you taking my picture? And he's like, Mickey Mouse is in the background. I was like, okay. I mean, I guess that's new to you. So, well.
It's a dad thing because I did it myself.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was like a new, like, oh, look, Mickey. But no, it's okay. If it's a dad thing, I guess I'm going to be there someday.
Oh, yeah. You when you get kids, you'll learn that even for the most redundant thing, sometimes you still take pictures because either it's a new reaction, something's changed, or just because you're so caught up in that to enjoy that moment, you want that picture, especially nowadays with the cell phones with the cameras and digital cameras where you can take 500 pictures and not have to worry about running out of film or knowing, you can see the quality of your picture.
Right.
Where
absolutely.
Before you had 24 pictures and you're hoping that these 20 of them came out good.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So after the Magical Express, we went straight to Pop. We stayed at Pop Century, and we kind of just checked our carry-on bags at the luggage services and went straight to Animal Kingdom because we only had essentially a day and a half in the parks. And we did all 4 parks in a day and a half for essentially almost 2 days, which was absolutely amazing. So once we got to Animal Kingdom, the first thing we did was we took a picture in front of the Tree of Life because I'm an annual pass holder, so all of the Memory Maker photos are included in my annual pass fee.
Oh, nice.
So that was huge, and we definitely took advantage of that any chance we got. We had the PhotoPass photographers taking our pictures, and they're always great. Like, it's always a good experience with the PhotoPass photographers. So I always try to give at least one of them a cast compliment after a trip, just because they all do such a good job, and I typically just pick my favorite. Um, but yeah, we went after our photo. We went to Dinosaur, and that was our first ride of the trip. So I don't think we waited too long.
Okay.
It was only about 25 minutes or so, so not bad at all. And then my parents kept asking in the line. They were like, "What kind of ride is this?" And Tori and I were just like, "Well, we can't really tell you because we don't want to give anything away."
No.
So they were like, "Okay, fair enough." So we got on, and they were like, "Oh, that was cool. That was a good start." And I'm glad we started with that, because had we started anywhere else in Animal Kingdom, it would have been a letdown, I feel. Because everything else as you go just gets progressively better. And as you know, Primeval Whirl was down, so not that we were going to ride it, but it did clog up other wait times quite a bit.
Yeah, you missed the group of people that are going that way now have to be filtered out into the other rides.
Right. So that was kind of a bummer, just to eat a little bit of people for wait times. But we really didn't experience anything major. So after that, we had our first Fast Pass. I planned out three Fast Passes in advance for Animal Kingdom, knowing that we were going to be jumping to Epcot later that night. So I planned for Everest, because that's my favorite ride in any park.
That's a good one.
I had the Safari, and I had Navi River Journey. And then once the Animation Academy was announced, I dropped my Navi River Journey Fast Pass and grabbed one for the Animation Academy, just to ensure that we had priority access to it, because that's something that was really important to me.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear about that one, because I personally am one that misses the old animation tour.
Oh, me too. I love that. Absolutely love that.
I still walk into the Star Wars thing that's there now, Launch Bay, and just images of Chris Sanders and all those other animators that grace those halls, and all the. I don't think a lot of Disney people, or just a lot of people, appreciate what came out of the Florida studio in its short lifespan. It was actually outproducing California.
Right. They had a huge influence in the late 90s, early 2000s movies. Huge influence.
Mulan was completely done there. Brother Bear was completely done there. And they were working on some other amazing work stuff. That the one thing that kind of shot them in the foot was that they were getting behind schedule.
Yes.
But the quality of their work was actually outdoing anything that was coming out of California. And I don't think I think it was Roy that was still in charge of Disney Animation at that point, was actually happy about that. So I think that's why he put the axe on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it happens, but I'm definitely glad that they brought it back, and they're acknowledging that. So
continue. Yeah. So you went to Everest next.
Yes, and Everest was, as I said, it's my favorite ride, and it still is. It will be my favorite ride in any park for quite a long time, I feel, just based on I don't know why, but I have this memory of whenever I was younger watching Disney Channel, just when I was in elementary school, was when Everest first opened, and they would do shorts on the Disney Channel, like, "Oh, this Yeti's gonna come and get you," and they would show like clips of the ride, and I was like, "Wow, this looks amazing." And at that time, I didn't even like roller coasters, but I wanted to ride it because it looked so cool. So it has this like kind of sentimental feeling for me, where I'm like, "This is amazing because I actually get to do it."
Yeah.
But no, like it's just so fun. And when we're going up the hill, I hear my dad saying behind me, he's like, "Oh, well, if we're going up, we're going to have to come down somehow." And then we get up to the top, and my mom is not a thrill ride person.
Okay.
So
neither is mine.
So we get the we get a few expletives, and it's just like, are we going backwards? And it's just like, yep. And then just screams and laughs ensue, and it was so fun, just so much fun.
So did you quiz your parents when you're walking up to Everest and you see, because you can see that you go up and then another point you're coming out forward facing.
Right.
The reverse part of it is actually hidden. So obviously they had no clue what was good, what they got
Absolutely.
themselves into once
No,
they were strapped in.
I did not give them any inkling that we were going to be going backwards. So I wanted that to be a total surprise, and it was.
Excellent, excellent.
So that was definitely great. So we got off that. And my dad was like, "Oh wow, that was awesome. That was amazing." And then we got some ice cream, because it's never too early for ice cream, as
No.
Michael Scott would say, if you're a fan of The Office.
Okay, yeah. And particularly in the animal kingdom with its temperatures.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Yes, it's always so hot there, as we have mentioned.
Yeah.
So we got some ice cream, and then
try working there in heavy polyester.
oh yeah, no thank you. I can't do it. I can't do the heat. I had to wear my or I had to try to combat the heat with one of those wet compress towels,
Mm-hmm.
which, as we're recording, I'm wearing on my head just for nostalgic purposes.
Yes, I saw many of those, and as I mentioned to you in the as our little pre-talk, that my family used them, and the last 2 days I finally broke down and wore them. Halfway through the Magic Kingdom and pretty much all through Animal Kingdom, I wore mine, and came up and Animal Kingdom figured out, oh wait, they have these giant aluminum tubs everywhere that they sell the bottles in. So I took my cool towel, stuck it in the melted ice, so you get the ice water on it.
Oh man, that's a good idea.
And my wife was like, "They're gonna yell at you for that. Yeah, they're gonna yell for you." Well, cast member came out. Another woman wanted to do it, and the cast member said, "Go right ahead." So
Oh wow.
they did not have a problem with that, and I mean they know how hot it is, so at least they're not being stingy about it. You need some cold water. I mean, I did see when we went to Blizzard Beach that they had some water stations around for free water
That's great.
for the guests, which I thought that was a nice touch
Yes, absolutely.
and a very welcome touch.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So anytime that happens in the summer is always a nice touch.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely plan on your cool towels. They do have them there, or you could find them elsewhere. They do take the edge off.
Yes, absolutely. So after we rode Everest and got our ice cream, we were kind of like in a lull because our fast pass for the safari wasn't until 2:30, and then the Animation Academy wasn't until 3:30. And at this point, it was probably about 1 o'clock. So we went to the Animation Academy early. We just dropped our fast pass and went early and hoped we could get in.
Okay.
So we ended up getting in right as the class was starting. Didn't have to wait at all. And we drew Ed from The Lion King.
Yeah.
So one of the hyenas. And it was a really, really nice experience. I've done the one at Art of Animation, and I did the one at Hollywood Studios as well. And I think the one at Hollywood Studios still takes the cake because of the cast member that was leading the class.
Okay.
The one that we had was a little bit dry, and you could tell that it was still early on in the process where she wasn't super comfortable speaking to everybody.
Right.
So I'm not going to knock her for that because I know it's a difficult thing to do whenever you have to focus on your drawing and leading everybody.
Yeah, it's a whole different element where you're just kind of guiding yourself through your head and you're letting your body take over and work it, to then have to explain what's going on, and also I guess she keeps an eye on what everyone else is doing.
She wasn't really keeping an eye. She was just making sure that she was going at an okay pace and trying to be engaging.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. I mean, it may just be because I'm older that it just didn't connect with me as much. Because I mean, you think this is more geared towards children, just so that they have something to do. You know, it's that. Oh, look, you can draw a Disney character with a cast member. You know, but me being the kind of artist that I am, I just really wanted to do it because it has meant something to me in the past.
Right.
So
yeah, I probably would have loved to have done that. You know what? I didn't even see where that was.
it was actually at Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't get out that way.
They
So that
reopened
explains why.
Planet Watch and totally refurbed the inside of the building to be all Animation Academy. They put in a ton of chairs and it's all like nature themed inside. It's really nice. The refurb is really nice and it's super like the air conditioning is awesome in there.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom actually fell asleep. So, which she actually just told me this morning. I did not know that while we were there. So that kind of caught me by surprise. But yeah, that was a cool thing to do, and I'm glad that we got to do it, just because of, like I said, it has that sentimental, nostalgic thing for me. But yeah, so once we dropped that fast pass, we had our fast pass for the safari next, and once we got back, because that train ride from Rafiki's Planet Watch to the Harambe village in Africa and Animal Kingdom is, you know, it takes you at least 15-20 minutes to get there and back.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of a trek.
Yeah, and that walk is quite a while too, which was a lot further than I remember it being from the train station to the actual building, but it has been a few years since I've been back there.
Yeah, it is somewhat out there. From what I remembered, it was kind of removed, and I think part of that was because of the noise of the steam train to try and give it a little more of a barrier between Gorilla Falls and the safari to where this train was. Also, the train, I remember in the early years, it bordered what was going to be the Asia section of the park, and they kind of give you kind of a glimpse of it into Asia. I actually got to walk in the Asia section while it was still walled off and basically just a level piece of land.
Oh, wow.
Just to see it. So I saw it from its earliest days of nothingness, where there was just maybe a few bits of piping or whatever around the place, to now being this grand scape of land with one, like you said, one of their coolest rides. Two of the coolest rides. The Cali River is actually pretty awesome too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they, so yeah, I've got to see all that. And I remember going to Rafiki and thinking how cool it was, and it was really trying to get people into the science behind animal care and to show that, particularly that this is not just a zoo, and these aren't just like pets, but they do need to be taken care of, and there is facilities on location to take care of them. Obviously, not always exciting to little kids. So it had gone to some not as well traveled. The cast members were actually telling me when I was there that the section in front where you got to meet the goats and stuff, and you could, like, the touch section where you could pet the animals.
Yes.
No one was doing it, so the animals were actually getting depressed.
Oh my.
Because no one was paying attention to them. So just like any people, if you don't pay attention to them, they get depressed. Well, animals are no different. So they would actually have cast members go there on their lunch break to spend their lunch break with these animals to give them some affection. The affection station, that's what it is. To give them affection and pay attention to them. So that was kind of the idea of, okay, we need to rethink how this Rafiki Planet Watch area is, because it's now kind of become like an abandoned part of the park.
Right. You're absolutely correct.
It's great to hear that, it is nicely done up, and having that animation area back there as it doesn't seem to necessarily fit the theming of the park, I think still works with everything.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't fit with the theming, but they tie it in nicely to the theming of the park because the basis of the new Animation Academy is like they have this history of how Disney used live animals to animate from early on with Bambi
Mm-hmm.
and then doing like going to the Lion King and how they did like nature treks in Africa and all these other movies that have had influence from live animals and live scenery. So having it tied in that way, and then you're actually drawing a Disney character that is an animal. It's always one of the animal characters. That's
Right.
kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that is awesome. I'm happy to hear that. I'm sorry I didn't get to do that myself, but as I'll get into it, we did Animal Kingdom actually a very different way. But I'll get into that. So you hit Rafiki, then you ran to were you able to make your safari?
We did, yeah. We got our fast pass for the safari, and it was great. The safari is always an interesting kind of experience. I really enjoy it. It's awesome that it seems to be different every time because you never know what you're going to see. You never know how active the animals are going to be, how inactive the animals are going to be. And we got lucky. All of the animals were extremely active, even the hippos. The hippos were out, so that was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was just surprising because I've never been on a safari when the cast member driving has had to say, "Please sit down," multiple times. Like, this is a moving vehicle. You need to sit. And I don't know why people just didn't understand that. Like,
You would think, especially with how bumpy some of the parts of that ride are, that you don't want to get out of your seat.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I guess at
especially
the same time, people are just so into what they're seeing, they just want to get that better view. At least I'm hoping that's what their logic was.
I personally I wouldn't stand in the like bridge over the crocodile section.
No.
So I thought it was kind of like odd that she had to say it there mainly, but
Yeah. That's not
it's
I think I even mentioned this in my original episode where I was talking about my time at the Animal Kingdom. I was supposed to go on the safari with Joe Rody himself and his son, but his son refused to go on the alligator bridge. This was one of the point where the alligator bridge started swaying and
sure.
shifting. He refused to go on because of that. So
Oh
they had to
wow.
figure out how to deactivate the bridge and try and convince him to go on it. Unfortunately, that never came to pass. That I was able to go on with them, but oh, that would have been talking about something special
Yeah, that would
to
have
go
been
on the safari
amazing.
with Joe himself. Uh, but yeah, the safari is always great.
Yes.
Like you said, because it is always changing, and you could go from day to day. You can even go a couple times in the same day, and it's not the same attraction.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So we did after we went to the safari, we went to Pandora and we had lunch at Satuli Canteen
Okay.
and we did the quick service dining plan. So that was my first experience with the dining plan and I thought it was amazing because our meal at Satuli Canteen was over $140 total because each meal includes an alcoholic beverage and
Mhm.
all of us are over the age of 21.
And that is new.
Yes. So that was fantastic. Where we could get, I believe my dad got a beer. I had, both me and my girlfriend had sangrias. And I believe my mom probably just got a Diet Coke because she had a headache or something. I don't remember. But it was amazing.
Yeah, the headache
That
from all the cursing on Expedition Everest.
yeah, that has to be it. But yeah, and it was awesome because the cast member who was the cashier, his name was Marco. He was from Haiti. He was outstanding because the family before him, you could tell, had kind of frustrated him.
Hmm.
And then we came up and we had this super large order. And the more, like, the deeper we got into our order, the more pleasant and accommodating he became. So it was just really nice that he kind of just like relaxed and just really went with us as we were being like, those people who were ordering $140 worth of food and then being like, hey, we're on the dining plan. So, we're not actually paying out of pocket for this.
Nope.
But I love Satuli Canteen. It's probably my favorite quick service in any park. So yeah, I got the rice bowl, or the combo meat bowl, which had the chicken and the beef. So yeah, it was really good. And after that, we did not get to ride Flight of Passage. So
we missed out on it too. I think the time indicator on it is broken because it only shows 125 minutes apparently.
Okay, that I don't think it's broken then, because when we were there, it showed 225.
Oh well, in that case, it's probably the same people that were still in line.
Yeah, that was the only fast pass that I did not get that I had wanted prior to the trip, and this was the first time that I hadn't got it when I was booking 60 days out.
I was going to ask, okay, when did you do your fast passes? How early did you do this planning?
Well, I booked our trip probably 75 days out. So I booked the resort about 75 out and bought all our park tickets. Then 60 days out, I was up at 7 a.m. booking our fast passes. I knew we were going to Animal Kingdom first, so I obviously started at Animal Kingdom. It was unfortunate because it fell on a Saturday, so I knew a lot of people were going to be ending their trips. So I figured that Flight of Passage would be tough to get, and lo and behold, it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit bummed, but like I said, we got Everest, we got Navi River at the time, and the Safari. And then for Magic Kingdom, because that's where we were going the following day, I got Seven Dwarfs, Space Mountain, and Splash Mountain. So it was relatively easy to get all of those.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's not quite as challenging.
No.
I wonder, and I don't have an answer, and I don't think I'll ever get an answer on how exactly they work their fast pass numbers. How certain rides, it's just like instantly booked up. You never seen it open, and then other rides you see sparse amounts or just easy. And even if it's a popular ride, sometimes you still can just have no trouble getting a fast pass for.
Right, and that actually was the case for us, because when we were in line for the Safari, after we had gotten done in Animal Kingdom, we were planning to jump to Epcot. So I looked, and I was able to book a fast pass for all four of us for Soarin' at like 5 o'clock.
Wow!
So it was perfect. So we had a fast pass in Epcot, and we didn't have to wait for Soarin' later that night.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really, really nice and fortunate that, because that was my first time booking a fast pass in another park. Because typically, like I said, I'm an annual pass holder, so I'm used to park hopping. Mm-hmm. But when I'm by myself, I don't really worry about fast passes because I kind of go more to explore rather than ride.
Yeah.
But being with my parents and it being their first time really experiencing everything, I wanted to give them the fullest potential with rides and wanted to schedule good fast passes so that it didn't seem like, oh, this is just Kiddieland.
Yeah.
But
we got a fast pass for Tough to Be a Bug. Quick, we need to hurry.
Yeah, no, that's not the way that we were going. But yeah, that's how it went for us. So after lunch, like I said, we did not get to ride. We didn't get to ride Flight of Passage, and I'm kind of bummed that we dropped that Navi River fast pass because we could have just jumped right on. But it was worth it because we did get the fast pass for Soarin' later that night.
You know what? It works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that much of a loss out on there.
Yeah. So, we went over to the buses, and I know some people have issues with the Disney buses, but we really did not have any problems. There were no times whenever we were like, oh, this bus is terrible. There were a couple times where we had to stand, but that wasn't a big deal. It was typically at the end of the night when everybody's at the bus stops.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just glad to be in the air conditioning at that point.
Yeah, out of the sun in the nice air conditioning.
Yeah. So we went over to Epcot and immediately went on Spaceship Earth because the wait was at about 10 minutes later in the day. It's always nice.
Ooh, yes.
So hopped right onto Spaceship Earth and went through there. And my dad really, really enjoyed Spaceship Earth because he is a teacher. So it was very cool for him. And just seeing how he responded to that, where it's kind of the slow moving thing. And it was really funny now that I say slow moving, because we get in and he's like, is there seatbelts for this? Do I need a seatbelt? And I'm like, no, you're not going to need a seatbelt for this one.
No.
So
even though you do go backwards.
Well, you do go back.
Does put you backwards.
At like 2 miles an hour.
Not even.
Yeah. So that was funny. But yeah, so we did that, and then we went over to Nemo, and it was a walk-on. There was nobody in line. We just walked straight through the queue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
you definitely timed Epcot right, because it was a completely different experience than what I had.
I'm sure that we timed it perfectly, because I've had that problem where it's torturous when you have to wait for it.
Yeah, I remember before Nemo, but yeah, we missed out on it because the line just kept on getting so big and so long that we just kind of said, you know what, let's see what else we can figure out. We actually cut our day short because it seemed like anyone and everyone on property was Epcot the day that we went.
Wow.
So you just count yourself lucky, my friend.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to hear, because we walked straight on to Nemo, and then we went over to the Land Pavilion. We walked straight on to Living with the Land. And then by the time we were off Living with the Land, it was time for our Fast Pass at Soarin'. So we had knocked out 3 rides in an hour, and then our Fast Pass was ready to go. Nice. So it was perfect the way that we timed it out. So we got on Soarin', and that was my mom's favorite ride of the trip. So
yeah, that's my parents' favorite ride as well. So they never saw the original Soaring.
Correct.
Okay, they're already familiar with the new ones. Where my parents, they've seen the original Soaring over California. They have yet to see Soaring Around the World.
Okay.
Which I made a comment to the cast member afterwards. Oh, they're going to need to update the ending in a few years.
Yeah, they are.
Because you got the old, I still call them Communicore, but the innovation buildings and the Fountain of Nations, which from what I understand is pretty much all getting a facelift or going away.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see what their plan with that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right.
I have a brilliant idea for any Imagineers that are working on it, or connected with Soaring for the next iteration. Do a Star Tours type of retooling to it, where each flight is randomized places.
That's awesome.
Instead of always just having A, B, C, and D. Right. Go A and D and C and B. Whatever each time you're going to a different country or a different place, different state, country, national park. You name it, you can completely randomize. That ride is perfect for it.
Right, absolutely.
It wouldn't be something hard for them to do. They did it in Star Tours. They can do it in Soaring. I understand why they haven't gone to the extent of doing that yet. You still have lines up the wazoo for that every day.
Right.
Which actually traumatized one of my children. Standing in that line. This younger generation, they don't everything's instant for them.
Sure.
But, next iteration make it completely randomized, so that way you just get that additional factor, additional ride factor out of it, that you can have 50, 100 different combinations to go on that ride.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. I think that's great. That would be awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that is just it's a newer ride, but it's an instant classic, just because it's something that, as long as you're 40 inches plus, anybody could do.
Right. which I feel we will be getting into a little later.
Yes, yes,
So I'll move on then.
yes.
So after Soren, we had the idea that we wanted to drink around the World Showcase. So we started in Mexico, and I think this was my favorite part of the entire trip that we had, because once we got into the World Showcase, it was just like, okay, we're going at a slow pace. We're just going to kind of enjoy. We'll get some drinks, we'll get some food, and just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
So it was super nice to just kind of sit back, relax, and take a stroll through the World Showcase and not rush. So we got some margaritas in Mexico, went over to Norway. We didn't get anything in Norway or China. And then we hit up Germany, and I can't go to Germany without getting a beer. So I got a beer in Germany.
Goes hand in hand.
Right, absolutely. So that was nice. And then, let's see, after Germany was, what did we do? We had a pretzel in Germany. That's what it was.
Okay.
And
Bavarian
then,
pretzels, nice, very nice.
right, the Bavarian pretzel was fantastic and 10 times better than the Mickey pretzel.
Oh. Do they give you the cheese sauce there?
They do not.
Oh.
No, they do not. But the way that it was cooked just tasted so much better.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
If the Germans are going to do it, they're going to do it right.
Right, absolutely. So after Germany, as you know, Italy. So we got, it was some kind of watermelon beverage. My girlfriend tried this watermelon Italian beverage. I don't actually remember what it was exactly, but she enjoyed it.
As long as she liked it.
Yeah, no, it was. I tried it. It was pretty good. It was a little warm, but maybe that's kind of how the drink is supposed to be. So I don't know what the Italian standard is for that type of drink. So I wasn't going to question it.
Nope.
But yeah, then we go to the U.S. pavilion, and my mom was like, "Oh, I need a beer." It's like, you can get a beer any day.
Yeah.
She's like, "I just want a Miller Lite." It's like, okay.
All right.
So
you have so much to choose from, and that's what you choose.
Yeah, she got her Miller Lite, and then my dad got a root beer float with Tito's vodka.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was very, very good. I tried a little bit of that, and it was fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then we did some alcoholic shaved ice in Japan, which they had 3 different flavors. We tried all 3. And after that, let's see, we skipped Morocco, France, and then we were in the UK right as the fireworks were starting for Illuminations.
Oh, perfect.
So my dad and I went into Rose and Crown, grabbed a beer, walked outside, and we just kind of stationed ourselves for Illuminations and kind of ended the night there.
Oh, that's a great way to end the night.
Yeah, it was so nice and so relaxing. So it was awesome. It really was. And that was like I said, my favorite part of the trip was just going around the World Showcase and just kind of sampling different things and kind of immersing into the cultures of each country.
Yeah, taking a nice stroll there.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And I mean, just it makes me so much more excited for Food and Wine in September, because that's my favorite time of the year at Disney. So I can't wait.
Yeah, August 28th?
28th or 29th?
29th. Same day as Galaxy's Edge, whoever
Yes.
did that planning.
Yes, that's smart planning. Get people away from Galaxy's Edge.
They're having enough trouble with that at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, the booths are already up.
Yes. Yeah.
It's almost to the point that why you bother taking them down, but
right. Yeah.
That's always a fantastic time to go to Epcot.
Yes, it's the best. So after that, we kind of
what was the take on Illuminations?
I'm glad you asked, because my parents loved it. They thought it was amazing. And I'm kind of up in the air on Illuminations.
Okay.
I just seeing what Disney has done at Magic Kingdom, it just makes Illuminations feel outdated. Like, I'm gonna be sad when it goes away. I really am, but I'm ready for something new.
My wife is kind of in the same boat. She's a big fan of Illuminations 25, and that's when she was working down there. She worked down there during the 25th, and that was one of her favorite nighttime shows was Illumination 25. And when they switched it to the millennial version, not quite the same flair, and I kind of have to agree. I enjoy Illuminations, but seeing it through the years, realizing that they keep cutting elements out and cutting back on it, to where it's just the globe show with some fire around the lagoon.
Mhm.
We did not get to see it. I'm upset that I didn't get to see it, because knowing that this would have been the last time that I would have been able to see it. But at the same time, I can't say that I felt like I was really missing out on something.
Right.
Saying, now I'll get into why I didn't get to see the Star Wars fireworks show at the studios. That I felt like I missed out on something. But Illuminations is just like, you've run your course. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you. I love the music. I have it in my car. Let's bring on the temporary show and then the big show that's coming after it.
See, I think I'm more excited for the temporary show than I am for the big show that's going to be coming after it.
You know what? In some ways I am too. I'm ready for Epcot Forever, and what are you going to be doing for this? Because I just think the layout idea, Epcot through the year and all the different stuff. Bring it on. I want to see this because I love Epcot.
Yeah, me too. And after this trip, I was like, I think Epcot's my favorite park, and I've changed my opinion after every trip. It's like, oh, Magic Kingdom is my favorite. No, Animal Kingdom is my favorite. But after this one, I'm just like, Epcot's my favorite. So
as you get older, you appreciate Epcot more.
Yes, there's no doubt about that. No doubt.
I can't tell you why exactly. I can't tell you there's a definitive cutting off line that, okay, once you pass 19, you understand the park better more. It's not even necessary for all this stuff the changes that they've made in the attractions and try to bring in some more exciting, more thrill rides. It's just the culture of it. Again, going back to the word culture, but the unification of the world, and you have all these different countries that really don't kind of always connect, but you can traveling the world without having to get on an airplane, and you get to not only experience the buildings and something that the Imagineers have designed, but you get the people from that country. So firsthand, you are dealing with natives of that country, and you get to talk to them and hear their stories and get their perspective on things. And I think that is something that, as an adult, you appreciate more, especially in this crazy world that we live in.
Absolutely.
Then children they don't understand that at all, obviously. But as an adult, I mean that's just a guess. But,
yeah, no, I'm with you there. I really am. So yeah, so after Illuminations, we kind of called it a night, went back to the resort, and just kind of finally got some rest for the day.
Yeah,
so,
well needed.
Yeah.
After that whirlwind of a day.
Yeah. So then the following day, we were up bright and early again, ready to rope drop Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Slinky Dog Dash just because. I mean, we didn't have a fast pass. We didn't have a fast pass anywhere in Hollywood Studios. So we went to Slinky Dog. We're on and off in 10 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah,
Lucky.
it was really, really nice. And then after that, we went to Toy Story Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Did Toy Story Mania in maybe 20 minutes, and then grabbed breakfast at Woody's Lunchbox. So that was a great way to start the morning.
So did you have that French toast?
I did not have the French toast this time. Whenever I went in September, I had the s'mores French toast, and it was amazing. So I
Okay.
wanted to try something new this time, and I got it was like the scramble bowl, which had eggs, potato barrels, and sausage kind of mixed into a bowl,
Interesting.
and it was very good, very very good, and it was big. They for their prices, I think it's a very good value of how much food you actually get.
We ate there, and I agree. I mean, Grant, I did the dining plan as well, so thankfully did not have to physically pay for it, but you
Right.
do see what the pricing is. And I thought for what you get quite a decent sized whatever, and the pricing compared to other pricing throughout the property isn't really that bad. You are kind of, you feel like you are getting your value
Right.
from that place. And it's a nice, quaint little restaurant with a major problem in its design, but
Yeah. Yeah.
again, I would be getting into that. But yeah, no, that's great to hear. So where'd you hit next?
Well, we went over to Star Tours, and the wait time was posted at 20 minutes. So I was like, okay, that's fine with me. So that's kind of why we went over. And that morning, both Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster were down. So yeah, so everything in Toy Story Land was crazy. So we went over to Star Tours where it said it had a 20-minute wait. We get in line, and the line is outside of the physical queue. So I'm like, all right, we'll stay, see where we go. And then I'm like, this is not going to be a 20-minute wait. So we just happened to look on My Disney Experience app, and Rock and Roller Coaster was back up. So we walked over to Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was posted at 40 minutes. So we were like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then they had to start letting Fast Pass people in. Like, because the ride had broken down, they had to prioritize Fast Pass. So it did bump the wait time up a little bit, which was totally fine because when we got into line, they bumped it up to like 45. And by the time we were in the middle of the line, it was already at 120.
Oh.
So we timed it perfectly, and we were on and off in about an hour. So, and that was our longest wait of the entire trip.
Oh, that's not bad. You definitely lucked out. So
Yeah.
you foregoed Star Tours for Rock and Roller Coaster.
Correct.
Okay.
And it turned out to be the best decision of the trip because that was my dad and my girlfriend's favorite ride.
Nice.
So they absolutely loved it. And I had only ridden Rock and Roller Coaster one other time. And I was like, oh, that was a good, the first time I rode it, I was like, that was a good ride. It was fun. But I just didn't love it because I went by myself.
Uh-huh.
But having other people there to experience it with me, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is totally different.
Yeah.
And just so much fun. So it was just a blast. I love that ride.
Well, it's like going to a concert. You go to a
Yes.
concert by yourself, you enjoy it. You go to a concert with a group of friends, and it's a whole different experience.
No doubt. No doubt. So that was our time at Hollywood Studios. We didn't ride Tower of Terror because once it was back up, it was already posted at about 120 as well. So we were just like, let's go over to Magic Kingdom. We have a Fast Pass ready to go once we get there. So our first Fast Pass was Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and
So I remember listening your podcast before going, and you quizzed your dad on what he thought the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was. So when he saw it,
not what he was expecting. Not what he was expecting at all. So yeah, no blazing saddles in there at all. But yes, he did. He was a little disappointed with Seven Dwarfs. I will say that much because, well, here's the thing: going from Rock and Roller Coaster to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
all right, yeah, that understandable.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but I set up Seven Dwarfs for failure. So had we not ridden Rock and Roller Coaster right beforehand, it would have been an enjoyable ride. But
Yeah.
all of us were just like, that was really underwhelming.
Well, 60 plus miles an hour to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
With multiple stops.
Right. So it was just kind of like, I mean, I'm glad we had the Fast Pass because had we not, we would have been waiting an hour and 20 minutes.
Yep.
So it paid off. But me personally, I don't think I would Fast Pass Seven Dwarfs anytime soon just to kind of do other things instead. Like I would prioritize Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, and probably Big Thunder or maybe even Peter Pan before I would go on Seven Dwarfs.
So you definitely do one of the mountain rides, being one of the mountain men versus going on the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. But, I mean, as I'm getting older, that's where I'm kind of gravitating towards. So
if I was in your situation, I'd be probably the same way.
Yeah, but like I said, I wanted my parents to experience everything. So Seven Dwarfs was just the most ideal Fast Pass to get just because of the wait times. So we did do that. And then we had a Fast Pass right after that planned for Splash Mountain. And it was broken down when we went over.
Oh.
So, actually there was one thing that we did before that. The first time that I had ever gone to Disney World, my dad and I met Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
And Winnie the Pooh was like super instrumental to my childhood. I was absolutely obsessed when I was younger. So
as many kids are.
Right, absolutely. So whenever I got to go for the first time, I was like, I need to meet Winnie the Pooh. Like that was like the one thing that I wanted to do. So we got this photo of my dad and I with Winnie the Pooh. And then I told him before we went this time around, I was like, Dad, we got to recreate that photo. And he was like, okay, I'm in. Like, let's do it. So we went up, and that was probably our second longest wait the entire time. Was just waiting for Winnie the Pooh and Tigger as well. So we did end up
like that. That's worth it.
No doubt.
You kind of have to.
It was,
especially for that reasoning.
It was amazing. And I'm not typically one for character meet and greets because I feel like I'm just an awkward person, and I don't know how to interact with them to the point where it's a fun experience for me.
Okay.
But this one was totally different. Like I pulled out my phone, I was like, "Hey Pooh, like we wanna like recreate this photo. This was from 2005," and I showed him. And he was just like, oh, man. And then Tigger was super excited. And then it was just really, really natural. And then I said to Tigger, I was like, Tigger, would it be okay if we just get a picture with my dad and I and Pooh? And he got all upset. And he went over. And I was like, I'm sorry. So afterwards, I gave him a real big hug. And it was just super natural. And it was amazing. It was the best character meet and greet I've ever done.
The characters are just like the cast members, where you'll get some good ones and some not so good ones, but the interaction with them, if you just you just relax and just go with it, is just really can make your day. Which I have some stories to tell myself about how that all went.
I can't wait.
But so that is awesome that you were able to do something like that, because I've been kind of wanting to do something like that. Did you bring Tori in it as well, or is it you just kept you and your dad?
No, that one was just me and my dad.
That's awesome. I have a picture from before 2000 when I went to Epcot with my wife, of the two of us in front of Spaceship Earth. That is before the monoliths were there, and you had the old fountain with the crystal pillars in the center of it.
Right.
And two of us there in front of Spaceship Earth, and I've always wanted to try and get a updated version of that picture, and 20 plus years later, I still haven't been able to do that. So I am envious of you to be able to get something like that, a moment like that, because trying to get a moment like that, I understand that it's not always easy, and when it presents itself, it means so much. the nostalgia and making, not even just making memories, but you're building on memories and just continuing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I mean, ever have children of my own someday, and I go back with my dad and future kids, that will be something that will be absolutely amazing to just do like the transgression again.
Yeah.
But that would be awesome. So yeah, after that, let's see, we did. That's when we walked over to Splash Mountain, realized that it was closed. So we were granted, and that was because of a storm. There was lightning in the area, so they had to close down quite a bit of rides in Magic Kingdom due to the storm. So we went to Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're on and off in about 20 minutes. And the entire time that we were in there, it poured down rain. So we come out, the rain had kind of stopped, but lightning and thunder were nuts. It was the loudest lightning I think I've ever heard in my life, or loudest thunder, I should say. You can't really hear lightning, but yeah, that was, we timed it well. Where Pirates was then when we walked out, posted an hour. So
yeah.
Just because of the storm, everybody had run to Pirates from either Big Thunder or Splash.
Mm-hmm.
So we lucked out, and then got to enjoy some Dole Whips.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So it was perfect midday snack. Just kind of sit down, wait until the rain stopped, and just kind of relax for a little bit.
Nothing better than a Dole Whip in the blazing hot
I know.
Florida weather.
Now, I am always the standard pineapple Dole Whip kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend got the new Reds float, the strawberry Dole Whip.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys were able to try that or not.
No, I didn't try that.
Okay, it was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular. I still prefer the pineapple, but it was better than the lime, I thought.
Okay, my wife got a little daring and she did the pineapple vanilla twist.
Okay.
Which I took a bite of it. It was okay. I like personally the straight pineapple.
Yeah, me too.
To me, I went out the full float. It was, the Dole Whip float.
Right.
So that was good, and I forced myself under the test to finish anyone who wasn't able to finish their Dole Whip. So I think I end up eating like 3 of those. But that's the wonderful thing about Disney and Dole Whips.
Yes.
There's no calories in they're fat free. There are no calories to them while you're in the Magic Kingdom.
Yes. It's awesome.
It's health food. It's fruit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell myself that every day.
Yeah. You and me both. You and me both.
So yeah, that's I mean, at that point, it was just kind of a no-brainer. We went to Aladdin. We did the magic carpets while we were there, and that's one of my girlfriend's favorite things to do in the parks. Not for the ride, but for the fact that she enjoys so much trying to position the carpet to perfectly have the camel squirt me in the ear every time we go around. So she was successful every single loop.
Oh.
So it was unpleasant for myself, but very enjoyable for her. So,
and yet somehow she missed out on getting any of that, right?
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah. So I had half a mind to take her phone before we went up and just be like, I have your phone, so choose wisely.
Choose wisely.
Right. So no, it's always a blast whenever the two of us kind of do that, just because it becomes a competition where it's like, oh, you lost or I lost. Like now my ear is just clogged with camel water.
Oh, fantastic.
But
at least it's only the one camel that spits out now.
Right.
Fortunately, the other ones turned around, and fortunately, they did not put something at the other end too.
Yeah, that would be a little upsetting.
Yes.
But that's as you said, it's very fortunate. So
You get
after,
that crazy Imagineer going, oh my goodness,
oh
look,
my,
think what we could do here. Wait, we did it in Figment, we could do it here.
yeah, for real. So let's see, what did we do after that? That was after Aladdin. We went over to Tomorrowland for the first time, and we had our fast pass for Space Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So Space Mountain is a classic.
Oh,
Well,
indeed.
Space Mountain.
First
So
indoor coaster? No, is it technically the first indoor coaster? Yeah, because Matterhorn doesn't count as an indoor coaster. So
correct.
yes, first indoor coaster.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, like I said, always a blast. Always super fun for Space Mountain. And then after that, we did the People Mover, and I love the People Mover. I really do.
My favorite.
It is the best way to take a break. Absolute best way. And especially now because you get to see the construction for the Tron coaster.
I posted several pictures of that. I got some I got from TTA, a couple I got from the back of the circus town, back by the train station there. If you go on the back end of Goofy, there you get a heads-on view of it from ground level. And I thought it was impressive from TTA seeing it from ground level head on is massive.
Okay.
I could not appreciate how tall this structure is until I saw it from that angle, and that's going to be some ride. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be amazing.
I mean, I've gone ahead. I've watched the videos from Shanghai of what their Tron is like, and if it's anything like it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see some massive reductions in the Seven Dwarfs time.
Yes. Maybe Flight of Passage will now finally creep under 2 hours. It'll be an hour and 50 minutes.
Hopefully. Maybe. Well, with that and all the stuff in Galaxy's Edge being open.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
December 5th, get the Rise of the Resistance, which, I mean, Disney's talking that up like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they kind of have to.
They have to, but it does make me nervous with how big and intricate that ride is like, okay, I remember going back to you were talking about them talking about the Expedition Everest with the Yeti and how wonderful this Yeti AA figure is.
Right.
Which 3 years later is a great statue with minimal articulation. I just get nervous. Like, you have that much technology in it. There's just, the chances of something going wrong are increased, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I always I'm one of those, get a little nervous. I'm expecting amazing and great things from all the inside stuff that I've heard on it. Just even the first room alone where you're on the Star Destroyer will just blow your mind.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think it'll be awesome. Just everything for Galaxy's Edge. I can't wait.
I was trying to get as many views of that place as I could. I was contacting people left and right, trying to see if I could get in there. Unfortunately, I left a couple days too early to even for the cast member preview. But I am so excited and so stoked for Galaxy's Edge. I love Star Wars, and to be able to go into that, seeing what they did in Pandora.
Right.
And this was our first time going to Pandora. Then thinking Galaxy's Edge is now up that mark. I just can't fathom it until I actually see it.
Right. No, I'm with you. I completely 100% agree.
So let's finish yours up.
Yeah, let's do it. So after that, we finally got our fast pass for Splash Mountain ready to go. We did that. Again, great ride. One of my favorites for sure.
Indeed.
And then we had some dinner at Columbia Harbor House. Grabbed some New England style seafood. Got a lobster roll. not as good as the lobster rolls at Food and Wine, but still very good, and probably the best quick service that I've done at Magic Kingdom. So it was new for me, so I enjoyed that. And then we grabbed a fast pass for Buzz Lightyear after we had used all the others, and after that we just kind of grabbed a pretzel and waited for Happily Ever After.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what did your parents think of Happily Ever After?
They were mind blown. They thought it was amazing. Like, it didn't make them emotional, which I didn't expect them to be emotional because they don't have that connection.
Especially to a lot of the newer stuff which is present in that.
Right. But Tori did get emotional, and she's seen it multiple times. So I always enjoyed that. Not that like it makes her sad. It like makes her Yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just the connection.
Right. So it's always amazing to end the park trip with Happily Ever After, and like we were just so pleased with how the entire trip played out. It was amazing. It really was.
And did you stay for the show afterwards?
We did not. At that point, we were just like, all right, let's go.
We're done.
We didn't do any shopping. We just kind of were like, all right, let's go back to the resort. We can just kind of hang out. What we wanted to do was swim a little bit because, the pool was open until 11. So we went back to Pop and we jumped in the pool for maybe 25 minutes and just kind of hung out the rest of the night, watched some Mickey cartoons in the room.
Oh, nothing wrong with ending your day like that.
No. So that was the main course of action for us. And it, like I said, it was just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Nice. That's you. I guess it'll be on to my turn now. So
yes,
we were there total 6 nights.
Okay.
In some ways, it was our trip was somewhat the opposite of yours. But I'll preface it. I've kind of done an experience like yours. At one point, it was just my wife, my daughter, and I. We went down. We were going on a cruise, but we hit Disney beforehand. We were only there 2 days, 1 or 2 days, and we had the park hoppers. We knew the one day we did one park, and then the next day we were doing, I think, the Magic Kingdom. So my daughter and I did actually 3 parks in one day.
Nice.
So I think it was Animal Kingdom Studios, and I know we ended up in Epcot. And it was a marathon of a day, and just hitting like, okay, what's got a short line? Let's see what we can hit here quickly, and then jump over. And we had a blast doing it. I mean, you're exhausted by the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
But in some ways, it's kind of like a little bit of an adrenaline rush to do the multiple parks where you're just hitting all the key notes and like doing like a best of type of thing.
You got that right.
Yeah. So this case, we planned 3 weeks before we left.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it was a very spur of the moment. I had a lot of personal things going on at the time, but it was kind of a celebratory and just kind of everything that my wife and I, our family's been going through for the past 2 years, with my wife getting her nursing degree, and she passed her state boards and everything. Kind of a celebration.
Well, congratulations to her.
Yeah. Oh, it's been crazy 2 years, 2+ years, 2 years just in the nursing degree alone. So it was well deserved, and this is what she said she wanted to do. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm not going to turn down a trip to Disney. So we hadn't been there in 2 years. So we did this 6 nights. We split it. We started the first 3 nights at the Port Orleans Riverside, which we did 2 years ago. And then we switched halfway through to Art of Animation, staying in one of the Lion King suites. So the Port Orleans Riverside, which was nice, we flew in late at night, I think our flight was 8 o'clock at night, and we landed close to midnight. Got on the Magical Express. For me, it was a 7 o'clock. We got there 11. Either way, we got there super late. We couldn't check any of the baggage. We carried it on, just brought it right to the bus. The cast member driving it, he's not a cast member. They're done by Mears, but he was really great. He ran some trivia. I don't know if because other people were asleep or just not interested. I was the only one answering the trivia for the most part. And it was an enjoyable way to get started. Got to our room, and the kids were fantastic. They love all the little touches to the Princess and the Frog. In the room, they have the privacy curtain into the vanity area, which has the two frogs on it now, and then Ray is on the shower curtain in the bathroom onto the tub.
Very cool.
So nice little touches, and then you pull down. It has a little mini bed that comes out of the wall, almost like a Murphy bed.
Right.
That has Lewis on it. And they've redone the rooms. It's got the hardwood laminate floor now. The beds are actually a little bit higher, so there's plenty of luggage space to stick your bags under it. Not much storage room to unpack in. But in this case, for us, it wasn't that bad. My wife, I think it drove her crazy because she loves, as soon as she gets there, she's unpacking. As soon as I get into the rooms, I'm turning the TV on and putting on whatever the promotional video for the parks is. In this case, is the top 10 must-dos in Walt Disney World. Top 40 must-dos in Walt Disney World. I put it on. My boys loved it, and they kept on asking to put that on every time. And I'm like, yes, you are my sons. You are my kids. Because that is something I always love to do. To me, first thing, put me right in there. Put the music on, get the TV going, just seeing everything going on. So we did that, got to sleep. Woke up a little later the next morning. We were thinking about doing the pool, but kind of missed out on that. Just got a late breakfast and hit the studios. We normally drive down, so we normally have a car. So this time taking the bus, we were at the mercy of the bus. Worked out for the most part pretty good. We did have some issues. I like now that they have the signs that tell you when the buses are coming approximately.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But the buses are always fun. Kids loved all the little signs on it. Get to the studios. For lunch, we went right to Hollywood and Vine, had the character breakfast with Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy. Having the kids, did a lot of in the dining package, not the quick service. We had the middle package one. I forget what that's. It's got you have a quick service, snacks, and a sit down.
Right.
So
deluxe.
Yes.
Is it deluxe? Yeah.
It could be. So we took advantage of a lot of the character meals. So had a lot of fun with that one. The food there was really good. I'm trying to remember, the desserts were phenomenal. I had a lot of passion fruit type of little desserts.
Oh, okay.
A lot of fresh fruit, which I tried to take advantage of. Let's see, what else did they have? There was something else that they had there that was, I thought, a little extra good. It's not coming to my mind at the moment, so maybe it wasn't that good. But it was just a nice way to kind of get into it. Start off with the characters, then shot over, hit Star Tours. My middle child, he's almost 5. He's just over that 40-inch mark, so now he was able to do these a lot of these bigger rides now for the first time. So gave us the experience, since the youngest could not, doing the parent swap. So that was interesting. Finally getting to do the parent swap and how they do that, which is nice in some ways how they do it. One parent gets to go with the children. If you have a fast pass, you hit your fast pass, you go on. You get a second fast pass then. for the children who can go. So the one adult and the children who can go on the ride. When they're done, they exit. The adult who waited behind with the children or people who could not go on the ride switch. So the adult that was waiting now goes back on with the children who get to go on the ride. So the children actually get to double dip on the ride.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the parents, switch off. So each parent or adult gets to experience the ride with the children who can go on the ride. So that's a nice way of, I think, going about it. And we did have an experience where we did not have a fast pass. We kind of walked on. So they had to wait, but the parent that's waiting gets a fast pass.
Oh, okay.
So you do get to kind of fast pass it
Very nice.
and go skip the line the second time around. So they're very mindful of it, and I think they work that the best way that they can in that aspect. Other than having a dedicated babysitter.
Right.
So yeah, hit Star Tours. Enjoyed that as always. That's always a fun ride. Got to go to a couple different plants that I haven't in the past. Hit the store there. Did the build your own lightsaber. For my youngest one, that's been a family tradition. Each child gets their own lightsaber and gets to build their own. So
awesome.
This was his rite of passage to.
That's great.
To build his. And from where we go from there, I think we hit the Muppets.
Okay.
For me, that's always a must do. A big Muppet fan, so I had to do that. Again, kids enjoy it because they love watching the Muppets. They're into the Muppet Babies now. They've seen a couple of the movies, and so they know the characters, and they just enjoy the bedlam of the Muppet Vision 3D. Where else do we go? Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed in 20 years.
Yeah.
Since they put the show in there. Then we did the launch bay, met BB-8.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting that it's still got the old wooden signboard up front that a cast member has to change. So I go in thinking, okay, Chewbacca's got a 10-minute wait. No problem. Walk inside. Chewbacca's got a 30-minute wait.
Oh.
I'm not doing that. But BB-8's was 15 versus the outside where I think it said 40. Like, all right, so we'll do BB-8. So I mean that kind of worked out, but it's one of those where it's nice that they have the sign outside, but it's not fully reliable.
Right.
So if you see the sign outside and it's showing you a long wait for somebody, do yourself the favor, go inside, check out the nice stuff that they have there anyway, but also look at the signs, the wait time inside, which are going to be more accurate than what's outside.
It's kind of a bummer too, in some regards, that only certain meet and greets are listed on the app when it comes to times. Like I know in Magic Kingdom, Tinkerbell and Mickey at the town square are listed time-wise, but no other meet and greets are, in my knowledge.
I think you're correct on that. The princess one, I think.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Only the indoor ones are, for the most part. But any of the more free-floating ones aren't mentioned at all in the app, which I think does it a disservice, because one of the things we were trying to do, my kids love Aladdin, so they wanted to meet Aladdin and Jasmine. I never talked it up to him because I didn't know if we would ever be able to meet them. We never did get to meet them because anytime that we walked by a place that they were going to meet was in between intervals. So like they would be there at 1 and then 2:30. We were there at like 1:45 where they had just left, and we weren't sticking around to see them the next time. I knew they would be in Morocco. I forgot that they were in the Magic Kingdom, but either way, we missed them in both spots because
that's a bummer.
At no point did we know that this was, what the timing of it was to accommodate. So I think that's again something that they missed the mark on the app.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it was kind of a whirlwind day at the studios. Finished up at the Little Mermaid. Did this, like I said, the bay launch bay. Did the uh, something that you probably wouldn't be as interested in, the Disney Junior Dance Party.
Yeah, I can't say that I would be.
It was, to be honest though, it was nice. For the kids, it is something fun. Where in the past, with the Disney Junior show or the um, I forget what Disney Playhouse Disney
Mhm.
iterations
Right.
was a puppet show. This is, they bring the costume characters on. You have a guy and a girl emceeing the show, leading the show, and they bring in the different iterations of the characters. So you have like Vampirina, you have Doc McStuffins, and then finally Mickey Mouse comes out um, and interacts on the stage with them and gets the kids moving, and they got the music playing and bubbles blowing and confetti dropping and whatnot. So it was fun. It was something if I had the foresight of what I was walking into, I would position myself better to live stream it, but never got around to on that one. Where we go from there? This is where we went to Toy Story Land and hit the Toy Story Mania. We waited around for the alien saucers. We did that one. That was fun. Um, since it was our first time in Toy Story Land, got to do that. And we were going to wait for Slinky Dog. Slinky, the time kept on fluctuating between 16 and like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
So figure, you know what? It's at a high point. Sun's going down. Hopefully this will, draw some people away. We're going to go to Woody's Lunchbox and have dinner. Which we did. I had the tachos, which were fantastic, but I got to eat of them. Everyone else, I think, got a grilled cheese. And this is where I say the giant the design flaw of Lunchboxes. In this time, they noticed some clouds getting a little darker on the horizon. I kept checking my radar app, and there were storms to the north and to the south of us, but nothing right over Lake Buena Vista. Which, okay, we're lucking out. Hopefully, this holds out. As soon as we sat down and started eating, the skies opened up.
Oh no.
We were at the larger table, which is designed like Baby Bell cheese,
Okay.
and it protects the umbrella above you, protects you nicely from the sun, but it's not
Huh.
completely encompassing. So the rain just jumps right down on top of you.
Oh no.
Oh, it
Oh.
was a disaster. And then all the other tables, which are smaller, we are a family of five, so the smaller tables just weren't going to work to begin with. We're kind of, everyone was still huddled underneath, but they were still getting wet. There is no cover, no cover at all in Toy Story Land, unless if you are in queue, in the latter part of the queue for aliens. I think for Slinky Dog as well, latter part of the queue, there's
Right.
cover, not
There
for
is.
at the beginning. And inside Toy Story Mania, and then Woody's Lunchbox, only where you're ordering the food and picking up your food.
Yep.
So after a few minutes and our food being now turned to soup, we
Oh
just
no.
made a dash back to where we ordered the food and seek shelter there. I did have a nice video which I posted of the rain coming down, and like you said, some of the loudest thunder that I've heard in a long time. Lots of lightning, lots of thunder, and just kept on checking. Okay, my app kept on saying rain will stop in 20 minutes. Checked 5 minutes later, rain will be stopping in 25 minutes. The storm just sat over us.
That's
So
unusual.
yeah, after about half an hour of standing under there, we're like, all right, we gotta go. So Toy Story Mania being the furthest back section of the park, we had to make a beeline through the entire park and stopping at the occasional points. Like, okay, this the one time that the vacation club area was the most popular because everyone was underneath.
Yeah.
Uh, if the guy was there, he could have made a lot of great spiels. But yeah, so we would stop at different points to try and get a little bit of reprieve from the rain. And we were just soaked by the time we got on the bus. got on the bus. Fortunately, they were just filling buses left and right. One bus would disappear, next bus was right on top of it,
That's great.
which is great. That's I give Disney credit for being attentive to that situation and doing their due diligence there. So we're on the bus. Had to. I think we had to. No, we were sitting. We fortunately were able to get seats on the bus, and I couldn't see it, but people around me were just amazed by the amount of lightning and the intensity of the lightning, and just seeing these bolts just coming down, something you'd see in like storm chasers throughout the park. As we're trying to make our way back to Port Orleans, we got back. I stood up and I saw there was this giant puddle from where I was sitting, from all the water draining on my backpack. We were just soaked through and through. It took our shoes about 24 hours to dry out.
Oh my! I hope you brought an extra pair.
The ladies of the party did.
Oh no,
guys, we're not so fortunate. We're guys. How many shoes are we bringing on vacation?
That's fair. That's fair.
So that was just a mess. So we get back to resort. I spoke to guest services. They were nice enough. They gave us back our dining. Cause with all things considering, they didn't have to. They did. So got new dinner. Walked back. I mean, even after the rain has stopped, the lightning was still going on for at least an hour. So this was a crazy storm. Even the natives were saying that they hadn't seen a storm like this in a very, very long time, how bad it was.
Wow.
So we were trying to see the Star Wars fireworks show. Missed out on that one. Next day, woke up, went to Ohana's for breakfast. So I hadn't been in the Polynesian since they redid the Grand Hall. As opposed as I was to it, it looks nice. It's a lot cleaner. It's just a lot more open.
Okay.
It's a nice little facelift. As much as I missed the old mountain in the middle, it did look a little dated to what it is now. So kids got to meet Pluto, Stitch, Mickey, and Lilo there.
Oh, nice.
It seems to be kind of, at least on these first two character dinings, you meet a character as soon as you walk in. So one character is stationed as a greeter, basically. So you walk in, you got the Disney photographers there, take pictures with you, with the character. And then you go to your table, and you have three characters walking around, interacting. It wasn't the case with all the character meals, but those two, it seems to be something that they're doing now. I guess so this way you instantly meet a character, and instead of having to wait or something. The waffles now, I notice also besides the Mickey waffles, there are other waffles that have characters on it. In this case, we had Stitch waffles.
Oh, cool.
And a beautifully baked ham done with some pineapple sauce, which was fantastic if you like ham.
Yeah.
And the pineapple bread. And they don't do the bacon, but our waitress did bring us some bacon. So got some bacon, eggs, sausage, and the waffles and the ham. So good way to start morning. From there, we headed over, did Blizzard Beach. Timed that right. There wasn't too many people. My daughter wanted to do Summit Plummet. She was able to do it. She kept on asking me to go on it. I said no. As you get older, gravity has a different effect on your body. And going down something, the tallest water slide in the United States at 55 miles an hour would not necessarily end as well for me as it did for her. So sure. I did the chicken pool. I did the smaller slides. We did the family raft though, and I hadn't done that one before. And I have to say that was a fantastic family raft. Everyone was able to fit in the raft, and it goes at a pretty good pace, and it's actually very long. Compared to the number of the family rafts that I've been on, or raft rides even, this thing you're going for a good 3 or 4 minutes. It feels like.
Oh, nice.
So it's a long ride, but it's not too rough that anyone could do it. And I mean, everyone had smiles at their face at the end of it. So if you're looking for a group ride that is something that anyone could do, you don't have to be family. You just grab a bunch of people that you feel comfortable going on a raft ride with and do it. It was fun. But the benefit also, on the queue line for that, you get a great view of Galaxy's Edge, Destino Tower, and also Mount Everest. You can see all three of those from that point.
That's awesome.
So, it's a nice view that you get from up there. So we hit that. Did a couple of things around there. Did the lazy river, the wave pool. Not as crazy of a wave pool as Typhoon Lagoon, but you still get some nice waves out of there. And then we went back, cleaned up, and hit the Hoop-de-Doo review. So it was the younger kids' first time on that, and they had a blast.
Awesome.
I was a little worried about, okay, is this going to go over their head? They're not going to understand like a vaudeville type of stage show and some of the humor. They enjoyed it. People were starting to crack up. They were cracking up. They got to eat with their hands. Great macaroni and cheese. The ribs are drenched in barbecue sauce. Fried chicken, all you can eat, mashed potatoes, a nice salad, and a weird version of a sangria. Sangria on ice. I've never experienced that before. It's just kind of like more just wine and ice, but
yeah,
it wasn't. I wasn't what we would call sangria, but it was part of the dining plan, so it worked.
Sure.
But yeah, the kids loved it. It's always a good time, and so hit that. We were going to do downtown, but another storm rolled in.
Oh no.
But we did get to experience. That's when we tried the minivan. We did the minivan that from Port Orleans to the Hoop-de-Doo review. They drop you off. So it wasn't the normal drop-off point, but it was pretty much right outside the tower. All right, outside the hall where the show is, and I loved it. I love the minivan. It's a little more than the regular Uber ride around the park, but you get an actual cast member. It's
right.
not a Lyft driver. So they're extensively trained. We needed car seats, and she explained to me that they pretty much go through extensive, several hour long training of how to put in car seats. So that made me feel good. And she had Disney music pumping on there in the car. So it was just perfect. Very friendly, very, just talking about whatever going on in the parks and whatnot. Really nice. Actually, she was from New Jersey as well, so having that little, little New Jersey connection going on there. And yes, so if you're worried about the price, I would say go ahead and do it because it's a nice convenience. The one issue that we did have with it in this, it's not strictly limited to Riverside, is where you pick out a pickup point. You pick it by the parking lot. And a lot of the resorts, one parking lot can cover multiple buildings.
Okay.
So the case with the parking lot that we were at, I think had 4 buildings that it covered at. So she had no idea where we were. So we were at completely at one far end of the parking lot. She was at the completely far other end.
Oh, man.
And, where are you? I'm in the parking lot. Well, we don't see you. And she drove around, and we were trying to make our way to find out where she was. She drove right past us. I was booking it, running down to the other end of the parking lot, trying to wave her down before she said, "Oh, no, they're not taking this ride." So that's one little issue. She blamed it on Disney's lack of trust in GPS. Um, so we took a Lyft ride that morning and had a similar issue where they were, not in the right area where we thought they were going to be, and able to work it out. But yeah, that if you're taking any type of ride sharing or Lyft or Uber type of thing in Disney, be mindful of the parking lot situation and work in a little extra time to try and figure out where your ride is. May not be where you think they should be. But that was, again, minor detail. Disney minivans are awesome. And I've never done an Uber or Lyft type of thing before in my life.
Oh, okay.
So this was my first experience with them, and got to do a regular one and doing the minivan. Minivans are just, it's Disney's version, of course, head and tails above. A little bit more of a premium, but worth it. But worth it for the service that you're getting. Just like a Disney Cruise Line. Is a little bit more, but the service level that you're getting is just, night and day above everybody else. Yeah, so we were going to do downtown that night a little bit, but because of the rain, had to scratch that. Just went back to the resort, packed it up. So then the next day we did Epcot. Got there as it opened. We were going to rope drop test track. By the time we made our way through security, through the front, thing was already at a 90-minute wait.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so soaring was 10 minutes. We just ran across the other end of the park. Did, again, the parent swap, so the first party went ahead. My 4-year-old was traumatized by actually having to wait in a line. So that made for an interesting situation throughout the rest of our stay. And me and the little one went on Living with the Land. And
nice.
I was kind of worried about how would he take this just slow moving ride, and he absolutely loved it. He wanted to go on again. We did actually go on a second time because my wife booked a fast pass for it. Why would you fast pass Living with the Land? But it actually worked out perfectly.
Nice.
And he wanted to go on a third time after that. Yeah, him and I walked around the food court while they were doing soaring, and then so when I had to go on soaring with the 4-year-old, he freaked out as soon as he saw the line. I'm not waiting in this long line. I'm not waiting in this. I'm like, we're almost on the ride. At that point, we were in the theater wing and waiting just in the line to get our assignments.
Right.
And I knew that it was only a matter of minutes, and he was expecting he was going to wait the rest of his life in this line. Completely traumatized by it. It's a generational thing. What can I tell you? So that made for an interesting experience, but he calmed down from that. And where we go from that? We went to Figment afterwards. Got a Mickey pretzel with the amazing cheese sauce that they have. Probably not as good as the pretzel you had across the way, but it was good. He frozen lemonade drink, which was really nice.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and where do we go from there? Then we made our way to Mexico and started our way around the world because we had lunch at Tepanito. Stopped by, caught a little bit of the Guardians of the Galaxy's awesome mix stage show. My 4-year-old, not knowing any of the music, enjoyed it just because you had Star-Lord and Gamora on stage.
Sure.
My wife and I enjoy it because we grew up with that music. So it's strange to see Guardians of the Galaxy in Epcot, but I'm not opposed to it. And that show building is huge.
Yes,
the guy was telling me that somehow the guy, the cast member of the bus said that it's going to encompass 4 spaceship Earths within there. I don't see it being that big, but
yeah,
it is massive. But he did tell me, and this I did not know, there is a tunnel underneath that for the buses to go through.
Oh my, I didn't know that.
No, so apparently they've added a tunnel, so for the new bus route that they will be able to transport underneath there.
Because that's where that new hotel is going to be opening, right over on that side too, as well. Correct?
I believe so. Yes, the hotel that they're
Okay.
putting over to Epcot, I think, is going to be over in that direction.
Right. Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah, it's amazing things are coming to Disney World in the next couple of years, and I don't even think we could even begin to fathom what they have planned, especially this being ahead of the D23.
Right.
Uh,
I'm very excited for D23.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So did Mexico, did the three Caballeros. I always love that. I love the three
Me too.
Caballeros, and they've done that right up a little bit since they originally launched it, and it's awesome. Um, it makes what was a rather dry ride to begin with now just kind of fun and colorful.
Sure.
And there was even a wait for that, and usually
Wow.
there's no for there. Didn't even bother with the Frozen ride. Tepanito, in the past, it's always fun to do hibachi. I find now that it seems like they've cut the portions back. There is no fried rice.
Oh.
Yeah, for hibachi, it's strange that there's actually no fried rice. It's basically your vegetables and your meat, or depending on what you order. So you do get white rice,
Okay.
but it's like, well, we want fried rice. Well, we don't offer fried rice. Oh, okay. That it was a little strange. So I was a little disappointed with having eaten there in the past and knowing the experiences that we've had in the past. The new owners seem to have cut back on that. I guess if they start hearing people requesting fried rice and becomes a little more of a thing, maybe they'll bring it. Who knows? But
Maybe.
just as a fair warning.
That's kind of crazy because you wouldn't think that would be something that would really run up production costs all that much.
Yeah, you already have the rice.
Right.
And you're already cooking, so it's not really that big of a addition. But I did have the green tea layer cake, and that was pretty cool. That was good. It's a nice little bit of strawberry sauce on it. So finished up with that, stuffed and filled. Went over to France and had a crepe. With the works, put the ice cream, put the chocolate sauce and strawberries on it. Delicious. I was only allowed one or two bites. My wife and daughter polished the rest off while the boys were asleep. Like I said, went to Morocco hoping to see Aladdin and Jasmine and just missed them. At this point, starting to get tired, starting to see more dark clouds on the horizon, thinking, okay, we're going to get rained out. Let's just make our way back to the front of the park so we're not trapped again. And just kind of like strolled through the countries. As a footnote, actually, when we were in Germany, I did make a point to show my one son the trains that they had.
Yeah, the trains is very cool.
Yeah, again, small details. A lot of people just walk by and not even realize it. And he looked at it and just loved it. We could have stood there for half an hour, but my skin was already on fire from the sun. So again, fun little details like that you don't need a fast pass for, that you don't need a ticket or wait in line for, are all around you. So yeah, we made our way forward, hit Spaceship Earth, and then kind of, all right, we'll head the way out, see maybe if we'll wake enough, we'll come back later. Never did, just because we were just so exhausted. And the next day we were going to the Magic Kingdom. That day, that was the day that we switched to Art of Animation, so we were checking out that resort, which I remember seeing it whenever I stayed in Pop in the past and seeing these, shells of concrete that was originally supposed to be the second phase of Pop Century. Right. The early years, 10, 20, 30. And what they've done with it, it's a lot of fun. It's super family friendly. We were in, like I said, the Lion King suites. So relatively short walk to the main building. They're redoing the floors in there, so there's some work going on. Disney has some work going on pretty much everywhere at the moment.
Right. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, they're prepping hard for that 50th. Constantly, I was able to see the Skyliner being tested out, seeing the vehicles up close. I was shocked. I was expecting it to be a little higher off the ground.
Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking was it maybe looked like 40 feet off the ground. It's not super high.
No, it's really not. And the vehicles were a lot bigger than I was anticipating too.
Yeah. They're nicely designed. I also thought from the promotional stuff I saw that it was just going to be okay. You had the Mickey ones, you had the Nemo ones, you had just certain characters. There is a lot of characters that they use.
There are a ton.
You have everything. I saw Scrooge McDuck one, I saw Chip and Dale, I saw Star Wars ones, Nemo, random monsters, not necessarily Mike and Sully, but like other monsters that had shown up on some of them. So, I mean, you just had, you name it, Yoda, Kermit, everybody. Any IP that Disney seems to have a hold on, at least at the time of production for this, is in there. I don't think I saw a Simpson one. That could be for one of multiple reasons.
Right.
Or just haven't seen it yet. But, yeah, there's tons of different characters. It seems like every other car. There's one that has characters. There's one without characters. There's one with characters. That seems, I think, to be the spacing of it. And then when I saw those things moving, those things fly.
They're quick.
I could not believe how fast those things were zipping. I was able to get a little video when I was in Epcot of watching those things moving, and those things are zipping. In all the wind and storms that I saw, those things didn't budge.
Good.
So I think part of the reason why they're so low is because of the wind.
That makes sense.
Obviously, the higher you're going to put it, the more effective the wind is going to be. So keeping them about tree level is going to give them a little shelter from the wind when they're out of park property, when they're going like across the roads and whatnot, since they're going to get a little shelter from the wind. Then also lower down, you get slower wind speeds. Sorry, I'm getting all sciencey on you guys. But yeah, I'm not seeing these things sway at all. Makes me a little more confident. And at the speed that they're going, I think you'll get plenty of ventilation in those things to keep it at a semi-comfortable temperature.
I agree. I think the initial freak out of no air conditioning is almost unwarranted.
Yeah.
Where people just like to complain because it's Disney and, you can complain about anything until you see it.
Yeah, it has to be perfect. And it will be. It will be. They learned from the Animal Kingdom where they didn't do any air conditioning whatsoever in any buildings. Yeah, so yeah, the Skyliners seem awesome. I can't wait to test those out. That's coming up September 29th.
29th, yes.
Yeah, end of September for those. Yeah, Art of Animation, lovely. Those rooms aren't as new as what the room that I stayed. Well, refurbished since they've opened so much. So all the outlets, where at Riverside they had tons of outlets with USB plugs in them and a nice big 60-inch TV mounted to the wall. This one has smaller, maybe like a 30-inch TV, one in the bedroom, one in the family area, and just regular outlets. But you do get the bonus of hookup. So if you have for whatever reason, you're traveling with your PlayStation, your Nintendo Switch, a Blu-ray player, DVD player, maybe even a VCR, you can hook it up to play on the TV. So you can bring your own entertainment that way, or just watch the family movies that you watched. So you do have access to put a external device to the TVs there for whatever reason. If, like I said, you're traveling to Disney World with your
Right.
PlayStation 4, if you're that desperate, if you're that bored at Disney World that you had to bring your PlayStation 4 with you. But lots of storage, lots of dresser spaces, small hanging areas, but lots of drawers and stuff that you can fold and put stuff. The dining table is really cool that it pulls down. It's got the Murphy bed attached to it. You pull it down, you got the bed there. the two full bathrooms is a big benefit. Um, I did find that it was very noisy, that you can hear in the hallways the hallways noise intrudes pretty well. And from room to room, you can hear voices traveling. So, for any of those couples that may be staying there with family or friends or whatever, you can hear between rooms pretty easily. Something to keep in mind. But it was nice. Not as much lighting in the bathrooms as say at Riverside was, but minor complaints. Not complaints, just minor issues. Theming of the place was fantastic. Seeing the characters around it, the little play areas for the kids, the pools just looked awesome. We tried to get to them, we just weren't able to work it out. The commissary area is huge. Landscape of Flavors has a lot of fun little treasures to it. As far as artwork, what people may not realize that yes, it's got a lot of character artwork. A lot of that artwork is concept art for the characters.
Yes.
So you can see the evolution of the tractors where they took the cow's face and kind of sculpted it to shape out how the tractor cows are in Cars. Earlier concept art for Timon, where he looks exactly like he does in the live action Lion King. And this is back in 90. Well, when Lion King come out? 96?
It came out in 94.
94.
Yeah.
So back in 94, they already had what he was going to be looking like. It's just fun little interesting things like that. And they had the nice little TV area for the kids to watch stuff. A pretty decent size arcade, which all runs on credits that run at various amounts. So yeah, it's a nice resort. It's not that much more than the value resorts, and you do just get a lot more elbow space. And they give you so many nice amenities. You have the little kitchenette with the sink, microwave, paper plates, which you think may be a little skeevish, actually are plastic wrapped. So you have two paper plates individually wrapped in plastic, so you know that they haven't been used or that they're clean. Plastic utensils, a can opener, and even a roll of paper towel to clean up any spills or stuff. So you have a lot of nice little coffee maker,
Nice.
a lot of nice amenities for something that is quote unquote a value resort. So that was a very pleasant, and the bed also pulls out. So I think you get a total of 6 people that could stay there. Next day we hit the Magic Kingdom, got there pretty much as it opened. We started in Tomorrowland with Buzz Lightyear. Then we hit the TTA, which again, one of my favorite rides. I still even call it the Wedway People Mover. I get stuck in old names sometimes. And I, again, worried about how the kids would like that ride because you don't do anything.
Right.
But my kids loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the kids, I mean, because it's a nice, you're out of the sun, you get a nice breeze, you're moving along at a very comfortable speed. It's always nice and smooth. I mean, yes, it stops occasionally if they have to try and load people on, if handicapped people or people having trouble getting onto the ride vehicles. But it's not a big deal. You get the great view of Tron, and they like going in and out of the different buildings. So it was just I was proud and pleased that everyone, so from 3 to much older, enjoyed that ride. We did the laugh floor. Kids got a kick out of that. They shone the spotlight on me and asked me to dance. I'm like, you're asking me to dance. I'm like Phil Collins. I can't dance. The only thing about me is the way that I walk.
Very nice.
I try to pull off something. From there we went to Fantasyland. We had Fast Pass for Seven Dwarves, which thankfully, because at that point it was I think 110 minutes, and the line was outside in 98-degree weather.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. So nope, Fast Pass, walked right on. Again, at this point, I think it was all right. Everyone was able to go on. We didn't do Rock and Roller Coaster ahead of time, so everyone enjoyed it. My 3-year-old, even though he's tall enough for the ride, did have some sightline issues from his seat. So he did miss out on some of the character appearances and whatnot, but he still really enjoyed the ride. Not knowing what he was going to get into as one of his first roller coasters, quote unquote, and he loved it. And I love the Magic Maker package that they do off of that.
Yes,
where you get the whole little video montage, versus just a static picture. Standard
right.
picture.
Yeah,
you get the whole video. Cool. Yeah, so I always enjoyed that, the fact that they do that. And so they did that. We hit Little Mermaid, Dumbo. We were busy. And the Magic Kingdom. I got to finally see the Muppets in Liberty Square, which that was a fun little show. I enjoy that, even though I was sitting on the rock wall a little further back from it, and I'm sitting there enjoying the show, and this guy stands right in front of me. Great. All right, so I kind of shift over as much as I could before running into sitting on the lap of the person next to me, who I did not know, which it just make for an awkward moment. Oh yes, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to watch the show, and by the way, listen to my podcast. Just sit on your lap here. I'm not like an old Bugs Bunny skit or something like that.
Yeah, for real.
And I don't know if this guy was just out to get me, or maybe he doesn't like my show, because then he shifted over as well.
Oh no!
I'm like, come on. Afterwards, we just kind of sat there, and we were exhausted, and trying to figure out where to go next. And the magic of Disney still goes on. A cast member just walks up to us and, "Oh, you guys look tired." And like, yeah, it's like, "What are you going to do next?" "Oh, we don't know. We're trying to figure out. We want to do this or that, but our fast passes are limited. There's nothing else that we can get. Everything's booked." It's like, hold on a second. He walks back to backstage of Hall of Presence, comes back with an iPad. He's like, "Let me see your Magic Band." I'm like, okay. It's like, here's fast passes for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, awesome.
So yes, that type of
that's amazing.
Yeah, the Magic Makers are still there in one form or another. So jumped on Pirates, which the storm was coming in again. We kept on getting the rain. And just watching the time tick up as we're walking closer, the time is going up in 5-minute increments. Just walk right onto Pirates of the Caribbean. Kids had a blast with that one. And I'd shown them the pirate movies ahead of time, so at least they know who Jack Sparrow was, and They kept on looking for him. And so they love that. And after that, we hit Aladdin carpets. We did the Dole Whips, where I had to endure eating multiple Dole Whips because the kids only made it through so far on theirs. The kids' ones, they now put a wafer in.
Really?
Yeah, there was a wafer in the kids' ones stamped with a character. The one on ours was Daisy Duck. So it makes it a little hard to eat. Because, you see Daisy Duck, she's so sweet. I can't eat Daisy Duck. Oh, it's a wafer. I'm going to eat it anyway. So, yeah, it's kind of like a waffle cone type of wafer that was in with the cup. So that was doesn't take away. Yeah, it's nice. So you gotta get that cone thing. It's nothing too crazy about it. But those things were melting like no tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, the storm dropped the temperature about 20 degrees.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So
you eliminate the sun, you drop it into the high 70s, and it was perfect to walk around. We hit the Haunted Mansion, which may or may not have been a good thing, because then we tried to go to Pinocchio House, quick service. Let's go in, eat, catch happily ever after. We waited for our food for about 40 minutes at Pinocchio.
Wow.
That place was packed, and the cast members working the kitchen, you could see their heads spinning. I mean, they had no idea which way they were going. I don't know what it is. Everyone descended on. Was it the rain? Was it because it was quick service? Was it because of the special Dumbo cup that you could get there? I don't know. We ended up missing happily ever after. The fireworks started up,
Oh,
and we bolted out the doors, leaving our food on the table, leaving the stroller at the table, and caught some of the fireworks from Fantasyland, which it's nice to see the fireworks, but you missed the whole castle show.
right.
So, and we're standing in the rain, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna head back in. Here's another little tip: if you're going to the Magic Kingdom and the extra magic hours are at night, in this case, that it was so, um, you had the extra magic hours from 9 to midnight. All the dining restaurants close at 9 o'clock. You cannot buy food at a restaurant after 9 o'clock at the Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
So that was one of the issues that we're having. Like if you were able to get food at till like at least 10 o'clock, we still kind of gotten the fireworks and gotten dinner, but we had to force ourselves to get dinner before 9 o'clock, which ended up making us miss the fireworks. So
Oh,
just a little gripe, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. So left the Magic Kingdom. Next day was Animal Kingdom. We intentionally started Animal Kingdom late, where everyone
okay.
tells you do Animal Kingdom first thing in the morning. Get there. You need to get there first thing in the morning to do it. So our first fast pass was 2 o'clock or 2:30 for Safari. We got there about noon. Did Tough to Be a Bug. Saw the Hakuna Matata dance party, where you have Rafiki, Timon, and Turk uh, on the ground dancing with the kids, which is a nice character interaction if you have
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Timon was very selective on who he was interacting with. The Rafiki was very open to interacting with anybody. Um, Step back, Crystal. We did the Crystal Palace at Magic Kingdom for lunch. Um, Food was decent, nothing too wonderful on any end there. And you get Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, and Tigger. So the kids enjoy that. And it's just a nice break in the heat.
Nice.
Um, Going back to Animal Kingdom, so we did the safari. Didn't see as many animals as we typically would. We did see the hippos. We did see the okapi. White rhino was taking a break. The black rhino was taking a break, but did see the white rhinos were very active. We actually had to wait because the white rhinos were hanging out on the pathway. Saw the giraffes. Saw the baby giraffe.
Yeah. The baby giraffes are so cute.
Oh, it was fantastic. Just so special to see, a baby animal just walking about there, and
Yeah.
just it was so cool. And still saw a lot of animals. Didn't see the lions. So I, didn't see the lions. Whatever.
Right.
Still got to see a ton of other animals. The elephants will still walk about So like you said, safari. Every time you go, it's a different show, and it is always enjoyable. So the kids loved it. We loved it. Taking lots of pictures. Where do we go from there? Did we hit the Lion King at that point? I think at that point we went to see Festival of the Lion King, and came out. I actually fell asleep during that part a little bit during that show. I was just so beat and tired.
Yeah. That's my favorite show in any park.
That is so well done.
It really is.
That they did such a good job, and to think that was just a last minute show that was done for a temporary part of the park,
Right.
and it's still around, and they had to build a bigger show house for it, and a permanent show house. That was, it speaks to how well that show is done.
Right.
I am in some ways upset with how I feel the show should be longer. Like the Nemo show, you get a whole long musical out of it. I think the Nemo one should be shorter, and I think the Lion King you need
Yes,
bump it
I
up,
absolutely
put
agree.
all the songs in it, and like the fire dancing and the tumble monkeys and everything. It's just so nicely done. Even and repurposed props. Those are floats from the Lion King parade, but it still just works out perfectly, and it's such a nice show. Got out of that, and it's raining. We did they have a Lion King scavenger hunt going on at the moment. You do have to pay for it, but you have 10 characters that you have to find wooden statues throughout the park. So we were doing that even in the rain. Kids had a lot of fun with that, and you get a wooden, almost like a bingo chip size, not bingo chip, a casino chip size magnet. It's a wooden magnet with a painted character. There's three different ones that you get for completing the scavenger hunt. Technically, you don't even have to complete the scavenger hunt. You paid it. They'll give you the magnet anyway. So we did that. Did you notice that they are building something between the top end of Pandora and the bottom end of Africa there?
I did not.
Yes, there is some sort of building being built at the border there between those two lands. And I asked around, and people obviously see it, but no one knows what it is. I don't know if it's a back of house thing, or there's something more coming to. I would think it would be for Pandora, but
I have heard that there is definitely room for expansion for a new ride in Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be shocked if we hear about expansion at D23, especially for Pandora, now that it's been, 2 years since it's opened?
2 years, because the last time I was there was 2 days before that place opened.
Oh. Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's...
I keep missing everything by...
Yeah, you missed out on those the Splash Mountain Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missed out on Splash Mountain Pops. I missed out on the... by a month, but still missed out on Galaxy's Edge. Missed out on Pandora last time.
Did you see the new Dole Whip Tiki bucket as well? They have.
I saw the hats.
They have a souvenir cup for Dole Whips now. That's like a plastic tiki room cup.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I did see I got the Lion King popcorn drum.
Oh yeah, those look cool.
Those were cool. My kids were banging away on that the whole time. So yeah, we did see that. So no, I missed that one.
I just saw that on Twitter a few days ago, so it might have even been yesterday.
No, I did. I saw it at the Magic Kingdom. They had it on display, and my wife's like, "No, I'm not paying the extra money for that one." But yes, I did see the cup for the Dole Whip, the special cup. It does look really nice. The CFO cut me off.
Fair enough.
You got your new monorail toy. You're not getting a tiki room cup. All right. I'm getting my monorail, orange monorail. All right. So yeah, we didn't catch the live show, the evening show at Animal Kingdom, River of Light. We didn't. We could have. We had fast password. We missed out on that. We instead went to Pandora at night. We did do the Navi River. So that was the first time I got to do anything in Pandora. That was the only one. But you know what? They could have done more with that ride. My wife was a little underwhelmed with it, saying that it could have been a little more with it. I said, well, actually, it's a completely immersive because most people are looking left and right. You also have to look up on that ride.
Yes, you do.
And look in the deepest backgrounds of everything because there is something everywhere going on in that ride.
Yeah.
So it gets sold short a little bit, but I think there's a little more to it than most people realize.
It's beautifully done.
Oh yeah. The detail in that. I mean, I think it's a little unfortunate that some of it's screen work, but I do understand why they did it.
Yeah.
And it's very beautiful. That whole area is beautiful. And to think, this is what you did for Pandora, Star Wars, which is going to be been said to be above Pandora is it's going to blow my mind once I see it. So we opted to see Pandora at night versus going to see River of Light, and
Good choice.
That was amazing. Yeah, that's. We kept on saying, "Oh, I kept on asking cast members, "What do you think of River of Light?" It's all right. Yeah, it's just no one said anything bad about it, but
right.
It's not our favorite show. Until I ran into two cast members when we were getting the Lion King drum. And he said, "Oh yeah, this is my favorite show." I said, "You are the first cast member I've ever heard, first person I've ever heard say that." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "And I'm not gonna hold it against you because you're earning your ears too. So obviously you don't know what you're." We did Tusker House for dinner that night.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a character meal. You get Donald, Daisy, Mickey, and Goofy. And you were talking about, giving props to cast members for doing their job. Those were the best character interactions that I had the entire trip.
Good. That's awesome.
The restaurant wasn't that crowded. I guess not too many people go there at dinner. Or maybe it was just the timing that when we hit it. But the characters, we met them as soon as we got there. The characters were at our table, so we got a little front loaded with them. But the characters were taking their time with everybody. Like there was a table next to us that Donald spent a long time with, and it was a bunch of ladies in like maybe their 30s, late 20s, early 30s, and or maybe even older than that. I'm not sure. But he was taking time. He was pointing out and making fun of them all that none of them had anything with Donald on them. And in the way that the characters can, kind of ripping into them about the whole thing and making a big stink about it. And Goofy would come along and just like the interaction level was so great. And then when they came around the second time, was even more so. Like Mickey pointed out, my son showed Mickey his light up shoes. And Mickey was freaking out about it, saying how he wanted a pair of shoes. He was talking to his handler about write down the name of the shoes. And it was like a 20-minute interaction. And we were in hysterics of how Mickey was going on about these shoes and how he wanted a pair in his size. And my son drew Goofy a picture in crayon and gave it to Goofy. And Goofy just made this whole big deal, like putting it on the wall, going put it on the wall, and he folded it up, put it in his pocket. Later, one of the handlers came and said, "Well, we're doing a dance party segment. They do a little show segment with the characters, and if the kids wanted to be part of it." So my kids were like, "Yeah, sure." So they won. Goofy ran over and grabbed my boy's hands, and was giving him personal attention through that whole little dance thing. There wasn't too many kids left in the restaurant at that point, but he held their hands, and he would just made that whole moment about them. And to see that on my kid's face, them light up, even my 13-year-old daughter, who, she's a teenager. We won't go much further about that. But when she saw Mickey Mouse that first day that we got there, her face lit up, and she just gave him the biggest hug. And a teenager to be able to get all that excited about a character, knowing what she knows at that age about, the Disney magic versus, the little kids. Right. But she still gets excited to see Mickey. And yes, I in my 40s still get excited to see Mickey, but teenagers, they're different. They're a different sort of creature. But to see that she still gets excited to see the characters, and she was loving every moment of it, just made me as a dad even happier. We even got at the end of the night asked the characters were heading out after the little parade. It's like, "Oh, can we get a picture?" All 4 characters lined up, and we were able to get a picture with the whole lineup at once.
Oh, that's cool.
You never get to do that.
Yeah.
I actually did see the manager and spoke to her about it. And she was saying said a lot of it also is because it's not like Chef Mickey's where everyone goes to Chef Mickey's. So it's just very mechanical in the way that they have to do things because it's such, there's so many people going through it. This is a little more relaxed atmosphere, and the characters do get to spend more time with the guests eating there and just make it a little more memorable. The food was pretty good. Some of it I couldn't understand what it was. Very African flourish, but they had fried plantains, amazing. A banana bread pudding, I think it is. Like a bread pudding, but it was banana bread pudding.
Okay.
Awesome. I spoke to one of the chefs. He said, everything there is pretty. It's actually easy to make, so they keep it all. That's why they keep it fresh. The fruit is always fresh because it's only in season fruit.
Oh, nice.
So that's why your fruit's always going to be fresh. Like you're looking for strawberries, but they're not going to give you strawberries because it's not strawberry season. We pretty much found cantaloupe, honeydew melon, and something else the entire time. But the pineapple, it was just so good. Like I said, nice fresh fruit. They're very selective. They get it whole, so it's just right off the tree or vine or whatever. So yeah, a nice little talk with one of the chefs there. They don't have chicken nuggets. If your kids like chicken nuggets, they don't have them there because he told me they only have 2 fryers and they dedicated the one to the French fries. Chicken nuggets would be too high of a turnover to try and keep up with 2 fryers to stock the restaurant. So that, yes, you will not get chicken nuggets, but they do have baked chicken, which is not the same. Or rotisserie chicken. But yeah, the food was fresh. Food was good. Had the pork. The pork was very nice. Tried a bunch of the other stuff. So yeah, it was a nice evening at the Animal Kingdom. Next day was our last day there. Taking the Madrigal, we went downtown, walked around a little bit, and remember thinking back to when it was downtown Disney, which I just called it Disney Springs now, and how different it is.
It is insane.
Yeah, massively bigger. The one sad thing is they need the parking garages. The sad thing is that the parking garages block your view of seeing Disney Springs.
Yes.
Like before you drive down the highway and you can see downtown Disney and go, oh, this is interesting. Look at that place. Look at that place. Look at that place. Now you just see parking garages, which they're done up. There's no character to it. It's just a structure with some greenery on the side of it. But like I said, they've been needed for years to have those places there.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that when you drive by, though, they tell you how many spaces are available per level. So
yeah,
first level's got 10 spaces. Second level's got 20. So you kind of can plan ahead of time. Okay, I can park down here, or I have to park further up. And then they lead you right into Disney Springs. And now that they also have a dedicated bus lane on the road outside of there, really thought that part through. The one thing they didn't think through, and this is where I have honestly kind of a big complaint about how they set up the buses for Disney Springs. Art of Animation is the last spot.
Yes, it is.
In the loop. And not only is it the last spot, the length of the loop, the first leg of it, when you walk along, is the width of the middle section of Disney Springs. So I think what's that, the Hangars Bay section?
I believe so.
I forget the name. But so you have to walk the length of that. Then you come up and out all the way to the highway and then have to walk the entire length back. So that's, if you have to get to your bus, that is a long walk to get there.
Yes.
And again, not too much shading. As I discovered that Imagineers do fantastic, amazing work. The only issue is that they live in California and they don't realize that Florida weather in California weather are not the same.
Right. Yeah, that sun is killer sometimes.
The sun and it's Florida. It
Yeah,
rains every day in Florida.
true.
California, you get rain maybe every month. So they don't necessarily plan for that thing when they're designing the stuff. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. Hats, umbrellas, some sort of sun protection will be definitely needed. Umbrellas even better because they offer rain protection. So yeah, that we were trying to book it back because we had to get back to our resort. So the fact that we had to go that extra distance, and after such a long week, it was rough to get back to that bus. But then yeah, hit the Magical Express home, and yeah, the sad story of getting home.
Right.
But yeah, so ours was a much more spontaneous but longer trip. We definitely made it more issues with trying to get fast passes. We were fortunate to be able to get one for Navi River. We were originally supposed to do the Animal Kingdom the second day we were there, which was a Monday. We kept on looking. We found a Navi River fast pass for Thursday, which was supposed to be something that was going to be the water park day. We swapped them.
Oh, nice.
For that reason. So if you're playing it short, you can't be so rigorous on when you're going to be doing stuff. You have to go, okay, what are your priorities? What rides do you want to hit? If you get a fast pass, that's the day you're doing that park. Unless if you get the park hopper. We traditionally stick to one park, especially with the little kids. It just makes it that much more difficult to go through security, get on a bus, get off a bus, go over here, move around. They're not going to tolerate that as well. So with the kids, we just stick to the one park. And like I said, we just kind of played it by ear. It's like, okay, here's our fast passes. Epcot, we actually did have a fast pass for Nemo, but it was for much later in the day, and we were done.
Yeah.
Before that, so that's why we said, you know what, we'll just skip out on that. So you just can't be, I have a fast pass. I'm going to use this fast pass up. If you're tired and you're done, just cut it there, because otherwise you're going to not enjoy it. You could be the best ride in the world. It could be maybe if it's a flight passage, you'll want to stick around for that one. Yeah. But if it is an Everest or something else like that, you know what? A lot of those rides, if you're coming back in 2 years or something, or 5 years, they're still going to be there most likely. If not, something better is going to be there. So cut your losses where you can. If you're tired and you're worn out, go back to your resort, because at your resort, there's going to be so much to do. Tie dyeing at, some of the resorts, so you can tie dye, you can make your own beignets, you can, the resorts alone have awesome pools.
Yeah, they do. And Art of Animation especially. That's the biggest pool on property.
Biggest pool on property, and you could hear the music underwater.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I wish we got to experience that. We desperately tried to. We didn't get around to it.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, so that, there you have it. Two completely different trips within a matter of days of each other. But it doesn't matter who you are or kind of how you can plan a trip that's perfect for you, and for whatever time. Like I said, I've done trips in 2 days, hitting almost every park in that time, a lot more abbreviated, but it's possible. And there's just so much fun stuff to do. We missed out on a number of the things, and it was blasphemy. I didn't get to go on the monorail.
Oh man,
I know. We should have. We just That's another issue with the buses. If you're taking the buses, most likely you will never have to touch the monorail.
True.
You miss out on the highway in the sky. But that's you know what? The bendy bus. I got to do a bendy bus. The new buses, which another tip. The Magical Express and the new Disney property buses have USB plugs, so you can charge your devices. The older buses don't. The new ones do. They're actually doing new character on the newer buses have character overlays. So if you see a bus with a character on it: Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, possibly Pluto. I think I saw.
Yes.
Those buses, A, they look really cool, and 2, they do have USB plugs that you can plug into your device if you can get a seat, and charge up your device while in transportation.
Yes.
The articulating buses primarily only seem to be doing the Magic Kingdom loop. These are the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I only saw them at Magic Kingdom as well.
That's just, I guess, for higher capacity.
Yeah.
But those things still fill up. But most of the time, your bus rides are going to be quick.
Yeah.
So even if you have to stand, even if it's been a long day, they're always nicely air conditioned. Just warning it, at night, the LED lights that they use in the bus are pretty bright.
That is very true.
So you hit the bus stop and it's definitely going to wake you up. The bus system has definitely improved over the years. And like I said, at the resorts, you do have the timetables. They don't have that at the parks. They do try to run them every 20 minutes. When I was at Animal Kingdom, though, waiting for my Art of Animation bus took about 35 minutes, and 3 pop buses came in that time.
Oh, my.
They told me it was because of accommodations, but I could argue that. I'm not going to. So, you do have to be patient with them, but a bus will be around usually within 20 minutes.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's it's fortunate that you didn't have many issues.
No, biggest thing was the weather, but you can't do anything about that. And I was going during the rainy season. Like I said, spur of the moment trip. Couldn't really pick when I was going. And even at that, sometimes the rain was a welcome thing. Like I said, in the Magic Kingdom, the Animal Kingdom, it lowered the temperature, thinned the crowds a little bit. It wasn't that bad.
Now, besides the weather, is there anything that you would have kind of changed looking back on it?
I would have probably skipped the Haunted Mansion to be able to catch. If I knew I was going to wait 45 minutes of Pinocchio, I would skip Haunted Mansion to watch Happily Ever After. Other than that, no. I have to say I did have a nice trip. Something else to keep in mind with the dining plan, if you are doing multiple resorts, some people do it. It's a little bit of an oddity. But if you are doing it, your dining plan is also partitioned to your resort. So if you're staying 3 days at one and 3 days at another resort, your dining plan is 3 days. You have 3 days to use the one dining plan, and then you get a whole new dining plan for the second resort. It doesn't carry over or merge at any point. So we learned that on that trip. So we ended up actually with 10 Disney mugs. Not a bad thing. Oh, and another little trick. The RFID chips work on the soda, but if you're getting the Gold Peak iced tea that they serve at the resorts, there is no RFID reader to those. So you can not have to you can bring an old mug and get iced tea.
Okay.
Not that I am suggesting you do that, but it is an option to you.
Interesting. I was curious about that because, like I said, I'll be back in September and I have the resort mugs, and I was like, I wonder if they still work.
Yeah. If you're going for a soda, you need the RFID readers. What I didn't understand, the second ones I got were for length of stay. I was leaving on the 2nd, but I did get soda on one of them, and the machine told me that I had till August 15th to use it. So I'm not sure what that was about. But yeah, you should be able.
Interesting.
There should be a way to be able to reactivate your old mugs. You may still have to pay a service charge on that.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Or you just get another fresh mug.
Right. Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
No. We'll use the 10 of them. Or makes great souvenirs to give to other people. Hello, here's a souvenir for you.
There you go.
So, you have any other tips or anything that you would suggest or do differently?
Let's see. I feel like you covered a lot of the tips that I would say. Like, definitely, if you need to take breaks, take breaks. Like,
Yeah.
don't overexert yourself because Florida is hot and
Oh, yeah.
it's exhausting if you go rope drop to close every single day. I do
Particularly
it
in
all
the-
the time.
Yeah, in the summer months.
Yes.
If you're going December, January, February, your temperatures are a little more manageable. But strange enough, I've been there, and it does actually get cold at those times too. I mean, it's not, we're the two of us are in the northeastern areas where it gets really cold, but you still get chilly down there, especially at night.
Yeah.
So do pack accordingly.
Yes,
Either way
absolutely.
around. So don't just because it's Florida and you're in there in January, you're going to wear long pants and probably need a jacket, light jacket.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But yeah, take a break. Definitely take your break.
yes.
The rides will still be there.
They absolutely will. Absolutely will. But I think that's all that I have.
All right. So thank you. Thank you very much for doing this with me and making this my longest episode yet so far.
I'm sorry that it's going to be such a long one.
Hey, I hopefully the people are still awake and listening and enjoying it.
Yeah, I hope so. But thank you so much for having me on. This was a blast. I really enjoyed this.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for accepting my offer. So where can they find you where people want to? I told them you got the Love of the Mouse podcast, which is available where?
You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere that you can find any podcasts, any music, streaming, anything. We're on there. You can follow us on Twitter at LOTM Podcast, Facebook by searching Love of the Mouse Podcast, and also Instagram by searching LOTM Podcast. So that's us.
Excellent, and it's a fun show. Definitely check it out. I'm still waiting for your Avenger Endgame review episode.
I know. I said that, and then Tori and I were just like, I'm just like we wanted to record it right after we went to a midnight showing, and it was just like, we're not doing this. We can't do it. And then I realized I said that, and now I'm releasing like 10 episodes later. It's like, crap. Okay.
Well, you could do it for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny. Yeah.
Again, thank you very much. And for us, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Disney Marvels podcast, or Twitter at Disney Marvels. Join in the conversation. Let us know if you have any tips on traveling to Disney, doing with kids as adult. However, how do you travel there? And what are some of your tips on trying to make your way through Florida, through the Florida properties? Put it on the social for either one of us or both of us. I'd like to thank my guest Matt Marlino again from Love of the Mouse podcast for joining me this week and discussing both our trips to Walt Disney World in Florida. Again, if you want to contact us, you get to contact this show at facebook.com/Disney Marvels podcast. Again, the Facebook group is facebook.com/Disney Marvels podcast, or Twitter at Disney Marvels. You can also email the show any suggestions or your answers to disneymarvels@gmail.com, or you can leave us a message through the Anchor app. I want to thank everyone for your time. I know this was a longer than usual episode, but I think it was definitely worth it. Some very good content. I know how little time you have, and yeah, I've been a little behind on my episodes myself, especially with loss of power for about almost 3 days, and then everything else that I've had going down to Florida. So it's been hard for me to catch up. So I figured this longer episode will be making up for lost time. And but thank you for listening. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to any of us who have podcasts. There's people out there listening to us and enjoy our shows. The best way, if you want to show appreciation, the best way to do it, leave a rating. Go on to iTunes or one of the other apps and leave a rating and leave a review. It gets people to know about the show, or tell people about the show. Tell other people out there about your Disney podcasts, and share the love around, because it creates a larger family. And Disney is all about family. The bigger the family, the better. That's what Walt always figured. So also, don't forget to subscribe to the show. And this way you always know when a new episode is posted and comes out. But while you're at it, also consider becoming a premium subscriber to the show to help keep the lights on, keep the show going. You can do this over at anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support. Remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. If you're planning your next Disney vacation, do what I do. Contact Destinations with Character Travel. They are the earmarked agency specialized in Disney cruise and resort vacations, with clients ranging from the magic makers of Hollywood to business executives of New York and the podcasters in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. From families all over the U.S., people are trusting the travel consultants of Destinations with Character Travel to plan their magical vacation. All you need to do is contact them and let the magic begin. Their website is www.destinationswithcharactertravel.com. Again, it's www.destinationswithcharacter.com. That's correct. Destinationswithcharacter.com, or email them at info@destinationswithcharacter.com. And be sure to tell them that you heard about them on the Disney Marvels podcast. Destinations with Character Travel, making dream vacations come true every single day. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever difficulty, darkness, hardship, or impossible situations, no matter what it is, no matter how wrong things seem in your life, don't give up. Don't give in, because you are worth it. You can look deep within inside yourself and you will find a little light. It may be deep down there, but it is there. There is a light there. It is the strength that you will need to know that you can overcome whatever you're facing, no matter how difficult, how impossible it seems, or how unworthy you may feel at this moment. Just keep in mind, you are worthy, you are special, and you can be your own hero. Never give up or give in. And keep striving on. And I will end this show with a quote, like I usually do, from Walt Disney. The more I go to other amusement parks in all parts of the world, the more I am convinced of the wisdom of the original concept of Disneyland. I mean, to have a single entrance through which all traffic would flow, then a hub off of which the various areas were situated, that gives people a sense of orientation. They know where they are at all times, and it saves a lot of walking. Again, that was from Walt Disney regarding Disneyland. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.